Hi, welcome back guys. This is your Sensei, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Naruto Was Born with Rinnegan Lineage. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Third-person POV. October 10th was a tragic day for Konoha. The village lost many of its citizens, its resources, and its fourth Hokage. The Yellow Flash of the Namikaze Uchiha clans was killed alongside his wife from the Uzumaki Senju clans after they saved their son from the attack of the Nine Tails. What most people did not know was that the child had developed purple eyes, which appeared when the young half of the Nine Tails was sealed inside him. Following that dreadful day, Naruto was ostracized by the entire village after Danzo Shimura revealed that he was the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. For the first 7 years of his life, Naruto struggled, unable to make friends and finding solace only in the books he could borrow from the Hokage. At the age of 5, he was expelled from the orphanage, and the Hokage arranged for him to have his own apartment. By the time he turned 6, he discovered his heritage. It was not difficult to piece together. He had his father's exact eyes and the same yellow hair with red roots, while his mother's facial structure and last name confirmed his lineage. He loved how his beautiful blue eyes would turn completely purple with swirling patterns whenever he felt strong emotions, but he did not understand their significance until his 7th birthday. At the Ninja Academy, he learned about ninjas, with 2 lessons capturing his interest the most: discussions about tailed beasts, where he felt the glares of his classmates, and explanations of bloodlines, which revealed the existence of his mythical eyes, the Rinnegan. After learning these things, he realized he was a Jinchuriki and concluded that he was the vessel of the very beast that had caused him so much pain. He spent hours in his room trying to master jutsus and fighting techniques, but he struggled to achieve what his peers could. While he excelled in academics and earned high marks, his performance in taijutsu, shuriken jutsu, and kunai usage was lacking, and he could not perform any ninjutsu or genjutsu. Many were baffled by the fact that he was obviously smarter than Minato Namikaze and Itachi Uchiha, yet he struggled with chakra usage. This led him to focus on his physical strength, seeking guidance from anyone who could help him. When he approached the 3rd Hokage, the old man suggested he train under Guy, which Naruto did without hesitation. Upon meeting Guy and his youthful look-alike, Naruto requested training. Guy was delighted by the enthusiasm of the 7-year-old and agreed to take him on. Naruto thrived under Guy's mentorship, who recognized the child's determination and willingness to push himself. Guy even taught him how to open the 8 gates, and within days, Naruto managed to open the first 2. Guy was both impressed and concerned by the immense chakra the child possessed, prompting him to speak with the Hokage about it. When Hiruzen learned of Naruto's potential, he decided it was time to take a more active role in the child's training. He began working with Naruto daily, quickly discovering that the boy's struggles stemmed from his unusually high chakra levels. Hiruzen introduced Naruto to the multi-shadow clone jutsu, and the 9-year-old immediately excelled, summoning nearly 500 clones. Hiruzen was torn between being impressed and worried, but he was certain that Naruto had a bright future ahead, one that should be kept away from the influence of Danzo. He considered placing Naruto with the Uchiha clan, given that Minato was half Uchiha, but he feared they might manipulate the child. Minato had concealed his Uchiha heritage, and Hiruzen believed it was not his place to expose that truth, especially after the clan's tragic fate when Naruto was just 7. Hiruzen continued to train Naruto, who displayed mastery over all 5 chakra natures, as well as the 2 additional natures of Yin and Yang. Hiruzen prepared to guide the child destined to become one of the most powerful figures the world had ever known. Naruto sat in his room with his Rinnegan activated, diligently writing down everything he had learned. In front of him lay a paper detailing the abilities of the Rinnegan that he had discovered, including the Asura Path, Deva Path, Naraka Path, Animal Path, and Preta Path. He sighed as he gazed at the moon, feeling a sense of peace, until he noticed it turning orange. Suddenly, darkness enveloped him, and he felt himself falling. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in a vast sewer with a cage before him. Behind the bars, he sensed a massive yet calm presence of chakra. He called out to the Nine Tails, curious if it was present. A deep voice responded, acknowledging his intelligence. Naruto gazed at the gate in awe, noticing the two enormous red eyes glowing at him. He greeted the creature playfully, but the Nine Tails retorted with a fierce declaration of its power. Naruto, undeterred, approached the gate, challenging the Nine Tails' claims of being demonic. He sat on one of the gates, commenting on the unpleasant surroundings and expressing surprise that he had survived in such a place for 10 years. The Nine Tails questioned how he knew about its confinement, to which Naruto casually explained that he was sealed with it at birth on the same day it attacked the village. The Nine Tails reacted with annoyance upon learning that the Hokage had informed Naruto of its past. Naruto countered, explaining that the creature had chosen to destroy the village and attack him, but his parents had protected him. He noticed a slight flinch from the Nine Tails, though it showed no outward signs of remorse or sadness. Naruto reassured the Nine Tails that he had forgiven it, understanding that it had been forced into 2 Jinchuriki, one of whom was his mother. The Nine Tails had been viewed as nothing more than a beast and a tool, but Naruto was determined to change that perception. No one would want to relive such a thing, even though Naruto believed there could have been a different approach. Perhaps a friend? He extended his hand in a fist. The tailed beast was momentarily speechless before Naruto sensed another presence nearby. He stood beside the tailed beast and asked, "Who's with you?" The Kyuubi responded, "So you can sense them too? Why don't you check for yourself? Your little purple eyes can probably help." Naruto nodded and activated his Rinnegan. In front of him stood a man with short, spiky brown hair, 2 locks wrapped in bandages framing either side of his face. "Your chakra feels familiar," Naruto mumbled. "Of course it does, I'm your first life." "After all," the man replied. Naruto tilted his head in confusion as the man explained everything about himself, his brother, and their father, the Sage of 6 Paths. "So I'm your reincarnation, and my great-grandfather happens to be the first Hokage, while my other great-grandfather is your brother's reincarnation, who just so happens to be his biggest rival and enemy." "That's really cool," Naruto exclaimed. "Yes, you share both their chakra while also being a reincarnation of myself, which explains why you possess the Rinnegan. What I don't understand is how you can turn it off and on as if it's some kind of Sharingan," Ashura remarked. Naruto found himself in the man's arms, who was gently caressing his back. The old sage explained it, Kurama interjected. Both Naruto and Ashura turned to the laid-down fox, confusion evident on their faces. When Kushina was PRGNT with Minato's child, the old sage appeared before them. He told them their offspring would be one of a kind, destined to do the impossible and save the world, breaking the cycle of hatred, Kurama explained. Naruto and his past life nodded in understanding, both visibly in awe. "As for the Rinnegan, I believe it was born with you, which is why it's still not fully developed," Kurama continued. "So I can grow even stronger with it?" Naruto asked. If what Kurama says is correct, then yes. Think of it this way. You were born with the Rinnegan. As a quarter Uchiha, you can unlock the Sharingan, but since the Rinnegan is already an upgrade of the Sharingan, unlocking the Sharingan will strengthen your Rinnegan, Ashura clarified. "Oh, so instead of unlocking a Tomo Sharingan, I'd add a Tomo to my Rinnegan. That's interesting. Also, is he Kurama?" Naruto inquired, pointing at the Nine Tails. "Yes, he's Kurama, one of the nine-tailed beasts," Ashura stated. "The strongest of the nine-tailed beasts, brat," Kurama corrected him. "Okay, well, I'm glad to see you guys, but I think I should leave. I still have to train," Naruto said, standing up. Kurama shrugged and turned away, still appearing to sleep. Ashura smiled at the child and patted his head. "If you ever want to talk to me, I'll be in your mind." Literally. "Just think about it, kiddo," Ashura explained. "Yeah, okay, thank you," Naruto replied. He closed his eyes and then opened them, finding himself back in his room. "This will be fun," he mumbled. Naruto left his room and rushed to the Hokage's office at an incredible speed, grateful to Guy for his training. Upon reaching the Hokage's office, he noticed everyone staring at him, but he was used to it by now. He knocked on the door and was greeted with an invitation to enter, which he gladly did. "Oh, Narukun, how may I help you?" the old man asked. I want to see my parents' heritage. I want to know what they left me, Naruto stated. The Hokage was slightly taken aback. He knew why Naruto had not been given his father's last name, yet here he was, asking for trouble. The Hokage sighed, looking at the boy with eyes filled with sympathy. Okay, your parents' house is located on the outskirts of the village near the Uzumaki temple. I can't enter unless they allow me due to the seals placed, but you should be able to. Thanks, Gigi, Naruto said, rushing out of the office. It took him about 5 minutes to arrive at the location, and he was astonished by the large building in front of him. He entered through the gate and felt a chakra field that he easily passed. Cool, he exclaimed to himself. He walked to the door, turned the handle and opened it instantly. Upon stepping inside, he was immediately struck by the amount of dust covering every object in the room. The house was simple, which he appreciated. He explored every part of the room before moving on to the next. He opened the door to find a nursery. My room, he murmured. He opened the closet and discovered a collection of baby clothes and some for older years. Preparing me until my teenage years, huh? He giggled to himself. After closing the closet, he moved to a room a few meters away. He opened the door and recognized it as his parents' room. As he looked around, he noticed a note lying on the nightstand. He picked it up and read it. Hey Naruto, it's Mama and Papa. If you're reading this, then we're gone. If you're not reading it, then we just threw it away. We want you to know that we love you more than anything and are proud of you, no matter what path you choose. We leave you with everything you need to learn about us in our separate rooms. Tears streamed down Naruto's face as he felt a burning pain in his eyes. He rushed to the mirror nearby and stared at his reflection as a tomo appeared around the first swirl in his eye. So, sadness activates the tomo? He pondered aloud. No, strong emotions, no matter what they are, do, Ashura replied. Naruto nodded in understanding before rushing out the door to the second room. He opened the door and saw 2 symbols, one of which he recognized as the Uchiha clan symbol. Dad's room, he murmured. He searched the room until he opened a drawer near his father's closet. Inside were 2 scrolls, and he took both to read through them, starting with the one labeled Un. Hey kid, it's me, your dad. I'm sorry that you have to read this on a scroll instead of me telling it to you. Minato Namake's Uchiha was a young shinobi with a remarkable lineage. His grandfather was the legendary Madara Uchiha, and his father, Izuna Uchiha, named after his late brother, was a formidable warrior. His mother, Mina Namake's, was a medical ninja of exceptional skill, rivaling even Tsunade Senju. Minato had grown into a capable shinobi himself, hoping that others would follow in his footsteps, but he would be proud of them regardless of their choices. Naruto, feeling a mix of emotions, opened the second scroll. It contained his father's signature jutsus. The first was the Rinnegan, a technique Minato had created, and he knew that his godfather, Jiraiya, would teach it to him if he hadn't already. The second was the Flying Raijin, a technique developed by the second Hokage, which Minato had refined. He was advised to use them wisely and given a cryptic hint about the hidden technique of his clan. Curiosity filled Naruto as he wondered about the clan's hidden technique. He left the room, ensuring he took the 2 scrolls with him, and rushed to the next room. He opened the drawer where he found 3 more scrolls and began to read. The first scroll was from his mother, Kushina Uzumaki. She revealed that she and Minato were no longer alive. She shared her lineage, mentioning that her grandfather was the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju, and that Naruto was born from 2 clans rich in chakra. Naruto smiled at the pride in his mother's words before opening the second scroll. She expressed that while she had never created her own jutsu, she had always been powerful, second only to her grandfather in chakra. She was known as the best wind user in the village and one of its most skilled shinobi. The final scroll contained the 3 Uzumaki hidden techniques, one of which his godmother, Tsunade, would teach him. The scroll also detailed their adamantine chains and healing bite, along with a phoenix summon and a special sword crafted for her. Naruto felt a sense of awe and responsibility as he realized these were now his. After absorbing the information from his parents' letters, Naruto rushed out of the house toward the Hokage's office. He needed answers about his godparents. If his parents had trusted them, they should have been there for him. He burst into the Hokage's office, startling the elderly man. He demanded to know where his godparents were, surprising Hiruzen. The Hokage urged him to calm down, explaining that Jiraiya was on a mission to gather information about a group of rogue ninjas, including Orochimaru. Tsunade had left the village due to the loss of many loved ones, including Naruto's mother, which had deeply affected her. Naruto understood and thanked the Hokage before placing the last scroll from his mother on the ground. He pricked his finger and pressed it to the scroll, channeling chakra into it. A smoke screen enveloped the room, and when it cleared, a small phoenix with blazing red eyes appeared. The phoenix greeted Naruto warmly, revealing her name was Flare. She was the personal summon of his mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. Flare sensed the chakra of the nine tails within Naruto, which he corrected her about, emphasizing that it was his rather than its. Flare, sensing Naruto's need for help, offered to send messages to Jiraiya and Tsunade. With a hint of sadness, Naruto requested her assistance in reaching out to them. He quickly wrote 2 letters, expressing his desire to meet them and learn more about his heritage. Once finished, he handed the letters to Flare, who, with a flick of her wings, created 2 clones to deliver the messages. As she disappeared back into her realm, the clones set off to find the 2 legendary shinobi, leaving Naruto hopeful for a reunion with his godparents. The Hokage mumbled, intrigued by the situation. 3 weeks later, Naruto was at the training ground, energetically battling against his clones and honing his dojutsu skills. He performed a series of hand signs and unleashed a fireball, only to be surprised when a water jutsu effortlessly extinguished it. Sensing 2 chakra signatures nearby, he quickly turned to face them. Emerging from the smoke created by the water-fire combination were Jiraiya and Tsunade. Naruto greeted them with enthusiasm, expressing his joy at seeing them. He wrapped them both in a tight hug, nearly overwhelming them with his excitement. Jiraiya managed to gasp for air, prompting Naruto to release them, his smile unwavering. They settled down to converse, and Tsunade began sharing stories about Naruto's parents, recounting how close they had been. Naruto recalled his father's promise that Jiraiya would teach him the Rinnegan and his mother's assurance that Tsunade would instruct him in the hidden jutsu of the Uzumaki clan. Both mentors nodded in agreement, and Naruto's face lit up with excitement. Without hesitation, Jiraiya demonstrated the Rinnegan, and Naruto beamed at the display. Tsunade's Tomo seal glowed, and Naruto sensed the surge of chakra emanating from her. He exclaimed in awe at their abilities, and Tsunade informed him that he would have 2 years to study under them. Confused, Naruto tilted his head, resembling a lost puppy. Jiraiya explained that they had spoken with Hiruzen-sensei and would take him with them for training before returning him to the village. Naruto's eyes widened in disbelief at the prospect of such an adventure. It wasn't long before Naruto set off with Jiraiya. He had completed an exam that showcased his mastery of everything the academy had taught him, passing with exceptional results. The Hokage was fascinated by the child who had demonstrated greater proficiency than Minato himself. Naruto spent the first year with Jiraiya, which was less about rigorous training and more about bonding and having fun. Jiraiya taught him the Rinnegan, and after nearly a full day of training with his clones, Naruto successfully created the technique in both hands. Despite the challenges posed by his immense chakra reserves, he gradually mastered chakra control and shape manipulation through diligent practice. He also learned about the Tomo Rinnegan and utilized its powers effectively. Even though he had access to the animal path, he forged a contract with toads, proving himself as a summoner in dire situations. Following that, Naruto developed his own flying Rinnegan seal, inspired by his father's legacy, inscribing symbols that represented chakra, sword, love, nature, elements he believed defined him. After a year, Naruto transitioned to training with Tsunade and her apprentice, Shizune. Tsunade introduced him to medical jutsu, and Naruto quickly absorbed the knowledge, utilizing his multi-shadow clone technique to accelerate his learning. Over the next 5 months, he mastered various medical ninjutsu, thanks to his exceptional chakra control. Once his training concluded, Tsunade took Naruto to Uzumaki to learn about his clan's history. Upon arrival, Naruto was devastated to see the village in ruins, a stark reminder of the past. Tsunade explained that during the Second Great Ninja War, the combined forces of 4 of the 5 great ninja nations had overwhelmed his clan. Naruto, however, was resolute. He decided that learning about his heritage was his new goal. For the next 7 months, he studied alongside Tsunade while exploring the remnants of his ancestors' village. He discovered his chakra chains and the healing bite, rare abilities that only a few Uzumaki could perform due to their high chakra requirements. As the second year came to a close, Naruto bid farewell to his cousin. Standing at the gates of Konoha, he revealed his Byakugan seal to Tsunade, proudly announcing that he had achieved the 100 healing seal and was now ready to fight as a ninja. Tsunade congratulated him, and they shared a heartfelt hug with Shizen before the two women departed. Naruto entered the village and made his way to the Hokage's office. Upon arrival, he greeted the Hokage, who welcomed him back with open arms. Curious about his next steps, Naruto inquired about his future. The Hokage informed him that he would need to return to the academy, albeit just for a day, to be placed in a team. Reluctantly, Naruto found himself back in his old classroom with familiar faces. Iruka announced that it was time to assign teams, and the students listened intently. After detailing the first 6 teams, he finally reached Naruto's turn. He announced Team 7, consisting of Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, and Hinata Hyuga, with Kakashi Hatake as their sensei. Naruto noticed the girls murmuring about not being on the same team as Sasuke but chose to focus on Hinata, offering her a warm smile. The girl turned red and looked away, making Naruto smile to himself, thinking how cute she was. He knew he loved her and that she shared the same feelings, but he didn't want those feelings to interfere with her ninja career. Eventually, the day came to an end, and everyone began heading home. Naruto decided to walk Hinata home instead. He suggested they go together, offering to take her for a bowl of ramen first, which startled her. She stared at him, her face flushed, her fingers fidgeting together as she stuttered some words he couldn't quite catch. Naruto spoke with a serious tone, telling her that her feelings were obvious. Hinata froze, her eyes widening in surprise. He continued, expressing that he truly liked her but didn't plan on acting on those feelings. Hinata's expression shifted to one of sadness as she processed his words. Naruto encouraged her to focus on her potential, reminding her that her future was far more important than he was. She gaped at him, but his words resonated, and she nodded in understanding. He smiled back at her, pleased. They headed to Naruto's favorite ramen place, Ichiraka Ramen, where he ordered 10 bowls. Hinata, surprised, stuttered that it seemed like a lot. Naruto, with his goofy smile, insisted he needed a lot of food. In about 10 minutes, he had devoured 9 bowls while Hinata finished her one. He asked if she wanted more, but she politely declined, complimenting his wallet, which made her blush. After finishing, they stood up, and Naruto led the way toward the Hyuga compound. As they approached Hinata's house, Naruto sensed 2 chakra signatures behind him. He turned to find Hayashi Hyuga and his daughter. Hayashi questioned him in a low, threatening voice about his presence. Naruto replied that he was simply accompanying Hinata, as they had been placed on the same team. Hayashi told him he was free to leave. Naruto waved goodbye to Hinata, mentioning that their sensei, Kakashi, would be glad to teach a trio like them, which left Hinata and her sister confused, while Hayashi's eyes widened slightly. In an instant, Naruto vanished, reappearing in his room. He mumbled to himself about how much he loved that jutsu. Meanwhile, Hayashi ordered the 2 girls to enter the house as he headed toward the village. In a matter of minutes, he arrived at Naruto's house. Before he could knock, the door swung open, and Naruto welcomed him, inviting him to join him in the kitchen. Hayashi activated his Byakugan to check for threats but found none, so he approached the teen. Hayashi wanted to know how Naruto knew about the UHUH trio. Naruto explained that it included his mother, Sasuke's mother, and Hinata's mother under Kakashi's father, and that it was related to his own mother. Hayashi, with a mocking tone, questioned whether the rumors were true and if Naruto truly knew about his parents and heritage, implying that he was smarter than Minato Namake's. Naruto confirmed this, teasing Hayashi about being upset that he was better than him and Fugaku's best friend. Hayashi commented on Naruto's annoying nature, reminiscent of his hyperactive mother. Naruto warned him not to insult his mother again, activating his two-tomo Rinnegan. Hayashi stumbled back, shocked by the sight of the mythical eyes. Naruto reminded him that his mother was strong enough to defeat him at their age, and Hayashi acknowledged that he was right. Naruto expressed gratitude for being placed on the same team as Hinata, promising to ensure she received enough training to surpass the rules imposed on her clan. Hayashi was about to argue but noticed the intense killing intent radiating from Naruto, which made him uneasy. After a quick goodbye, Hayashi left, leaving Naruto to his thoughts. Later, Naruto and his teammates sat together in the academy, waiting for their sensei. Hinata mumbled that Kakashi was really late. Naruto reassured her that he would always be late unless it was something important. Sasuke questioned how Naruto knew him, and Naruto's expression turned hollow as he recalled how Kakashi had helped him as a child. He replied that he had done his research, receiving nods of understanding from his teammates. Hours later, Kakashi entered the room, only to be met by a barrage of kunai. He blocked them all with a kunai, turning to face his students. Sasuke and Hinata's eyes widened as Naruto smirked from the desk he was sitting on. His teammates wondered how he had gotten there. Kakashi mocked them, commenting on their unconventional greeting. Naruto shrugged, stating he was just checking if their sensei was still powerful enough to train them. Hinata mumbled her concern about Naruto's recklessness, but he dismissed it, insisting that a ninja should always be ready for anything. Kakashi then ordered them to meet him on the roof before disappearing in a flash. Naruto instructed his teammates to touch his shoulder, and they complied, teleporting to the rooftop, where they fell to their knees, feeling nauseous. Naruto apologized with a goofy smile, while Kakashi struggled to hold back his laughter. Kakashi then instructed them to calm down and introduce themselves. Naruto eagerly declared his ambition to become Hokage, expressing his dislike for some villagers but hoping they could be friends rather than just a team. Hinata introduced herself, sharing her admiration for her sister and friends, her desire to become a great shinobi, and her frustration with the clan's rules. Sasuke, in a deep tone, revealed his ambition to avenge his clan and restore it. Kakashi introduced himself, stating that his likes and dislikes were not their concern and that he wouldn't share his dreams. Genin stared at him, surprised by his lack of information. Kakashi instructed them to meet him the next morning and warned them not to eat unless they wanted to feel ill. After he vanished, Naruto turned to his classmates and offered to teleport them, but they both declined, leaving him disappointed. The next day, Naruto woke up early, had breakfast, and rushed to the training ground only to find it empty. Soon, several of his classmates arrived, including Kurenai's team, Sakura, Kiba, Shino, and Asuma's team, Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji. Confused, Naruto wondered if this was a normal bell test. Suddenly, hundreds of kunai flew towards them. Everyone dodged, but Kiba was caught off guard while checking something with Akamaru. Naruto's eyes widened as he rushed in front of Kiba, getting struck by several kunai. He sighed as he removed them from his back, healing instantly. He pointed out 3 familiar chakra signatures behind the trees, prompting Hinata to activate her Byakugan. She confirmed their senseis were there. Before anyone could react, Asuma threw a chakra-infused kunai at Naruto, who easily dodged it. The 3 Jonin appeared before them, startling the group. Shino questioned why they would attack them. Asuma explained they were tasked with assessing the finest shinobi, and they would fight until only 3 genin remained. Kurenai added that the rest would meet their fate that day. The Jonin created shadow clones, each rushing towards their respective teams. Naruto created numerous clones to assist his classmates, and soon everyone was engaged in battle, dodging and countering attacks, though Naruto was clearly stalling. Naruto remarked on Kakashi's strategy, suggesting he should have known better than to try to split them apart. Kakashi acknowledged Naruto's insight but explained that this was a test of their teamwork. He complimented Naruto's strength, noting that a typical bell test would end quickly. Naruto, grateful for the compliment, acknowledged Kakashi's experience and vast techniques but hinted at having a plan. Just as Kakashi was about to inquire further, a fireball shot towards him. The remaining genin appeared in front of Kakashi, with Naruto's adamantine chains capturing both Kurenai and Asuma, who were smiling. Asuma noted that Naruto had shared his strategy with his clones, leading to their victory through teamwork. Kakashi expressed disappointment, having expected a more challenging encounter. Shikamaru pointed out that some of their teammates had initially resisted Naruto's guidance until they were compelled to cooperate. The two dark-haired genin rolled their eyes as the girls continued to fawn over Sasuke. After the test, all the genin followed Naruto's lead and began training harder, motivated by the noticeable power gap between them and Naruto. He trained Hinata in taijutsu and ninjutsu, while Sasuke declined his offer. During this time, the team undertook low-level missions around the village. Despite their success, Naruto aimed to contribute as much as possible. He created at least 100 shadow clones daily to tackle as many missions as he could, even if it meant working alone. Over the course of 50 days, he completed more than 1,000 tasks, impressing even the Hokage. The villagers, despite their previous rudeness, grew accustomed to Naruto's assistance with various missions. Throughout this, he remained dedicated to his training. Destroying his body daily probably wasn't the best way to train, but it was expected from someone who had trained under Guy and now under Guy's rival, Kakashi. Soon, the low-level missions became less common as Naruto completed them to such a perfect level that they no longer needed to be repeated. This became the talk of the entire village, much to a certain Uchiha's annoyance. After 50 days, the team gathered in the Hokage's office while Hiruzen lamented the lack of missions to assign them. Naruto, filled with hope, asked if they could have a higher-level mission since no low-level ones were available. The Hokage smiled knowingly and acknowledged that they deserved a C-rank mission after all the E ranks they had completed. It wasn't long before a drunk man stumbled into the room, hurling insults at the team and claiming they were incapable of keeping him safe. The four teammates chose to ignore him, focusing instead on Naruto's amusing story about a ramen bowl he had accidentally spilled on the Hokage after the old man had called his mother a tomato. Eventually, all 5 of them stood at the village gates, ready to embark on their mission. Kakashi, with a fond smile, praised their amazing capabilities in simple missions and assured them that this one would only be slightly harder. Naruto teased Kakashi, prompting giggles from his teammates. As they left the village, Kakashi began explaining chakra natures and how he could assist them with nature jutsus whenever needed. Naruto suggested a specific technique for Sasuke, eager to see his friend excel. After a few hours of walking, Naruto sensed 2 chakra signatures nearby. He noticed 2 chains about to wrap around Kakashi and quickly stabbed them with kunai, anchoring them to a tree branch. 2 identical men appeared, their gauntlets connected to the chains. Naruto recognized them immediately as the Demon Brothers. Kakashi was about to intervene when the 2 attacked Naruto, but Sasuke swiftly kicked one in the face while Hinata used chakra to incapacitate the other. Naruto beamed with happiness, impressed that his friends were using the skills he had taught them. Kakashi ordered Sasuke to calm down as his Sharingan activated, and the team continued their mission after questioning Tazuna about their assignment. It became clear that they were protecting the bridge builder. After Tazuna explained the dire situation in his village due to Gato, the team agreed to stick to the mission. As they progressed, Kakashi spotted a sword flying toward them and ordered everyone to duck. A man appeared on the sword, and Naruto recognized him instantly. He introduced himself with a menacing tone, revealing his intention to confront Kakashi. Kakashi responded defiantly, stating he would handle the situation while instructing the genin to keep Tazuna safe. Naruto felt a chakra presence nearby, warning his teammates to stay with Tazuna as he rushed toward the signal. He quickly created a shadow clone to leave with them before pursuing the chakra source. After a brief search, he found the shinobi and summoned his chains to attack, but the man easily dodged. The man taunted Naruto for his distraction, but Naruto smirked as his clone appeared and kicked the man into a tree. The man, unfazed, performed hand signs Naruto had never seen before, trapping him in a group of ice mirrors. From one of the mirrors, he launched a barrage of Senbon at Naruto, who managed to dodge them for several minutes. Finally, Naruto raised his hand and unleashed a powerful force, shattering the ice and sending the man flying into the field where Kakashi had just pierced Zabuza with his Chidori. As Zabuza murmured his final words, the man who had attacked Naruto winced and, in a moment of despair, took his own life. Naruto rushed toward him, desperate to heal him, but it was too late. Kakashi, with a sigh, reminded Naruto that as shinobi, they faced such losses daily. Naruto could only stare in shock as he felt the weight of life slipping away. Kakashi, on the verge of losing consciousness, allowed Naruto to help him regain his chakra. Meanwhile, Naruto struggled with feelings of failure, unable to save the man. Ashura's voice echoed in his mind, reassuring him that they could not save everyone and that he should learn from this experience. With a sigh, Naruto nodded, regaining his determination and encouraging his team to continue. After several more hours, they arrived at the village, and Naruto felt a deep sadness at the sight before him. He told his teammates to rest while he explored the village, and they agreed, except for Hinata, who chose to stay by his side. As they walked through the village, Naruto was struck by the poverty surrounding the villagers. He visited a shop and purchased some vegetables, giving the shopkeeper a bag filled with coins. The man protested, warning Naruto that Gato and his men would take the money, but Naruto assured him he would stop them no matter what. Naruto mentioned that he wasn't carrying much and asked to distribute the supplies to the block, planning to share the remaining amount with the other blocks. The man's eyes filled with tears as he embraced the teen, who happily returned the hug. Naruto continued this act of kindness throughout the village, and soon, the news spread rapidly. After finishing his task, Naruto sat at the edge of the ocean with Hinata beside him. She admired him, saying he was truly sweet. Naruto pondered whether he was just doing what everyone should do. Hinata, after a moment of thought, confidently affirmed that his actions were indeed something everyone should strive for, even if most did not. Naruto smiled at her and helped her to her feet, playfully asking her not to be sick from the moment. Suddenly, they were teleported beside Kakashi. Naruto greeted him before noticing Tazuna sitting at a table with a woman and a child. The woman invited Naruto to join them for dinner, but he politely declined, mentioning that they had already eaten outside. Tazuna recognized Naruto as the one who had been helping the villagers and praised him as a young hero. However, a child named Inari interrupted, expressing his disdain for the idea of heroes, which prompted a reprimand from his mother, Tsunami. Tazuna explained that Inari had lost his father figure, who had been seen as a hero until Gato had taken his life in front of everyone. Inari ran away in tears, and Tsunami was left frozen in sorrow. Naruto, feeling compelled to help, rushed after the boy. 10 minutes later, Naruto returned with Inari in his arms, who was nearly unconscious from crying. Tazuna inquired about what had happened, and Naruto casually mentioned that he had shared his own traumatic experiences to help Inari. He handed the boy over to his mother, who took him to bed, while Naruto and his teammates settled down for the night. The next day, Naruto woke up at the same time as his team. Kakashi announced that he wanted to train them, but Naruto decided to stay behind to ensure the safety of Tazuna and his family. Sasuke shot him a glare, feeling as if Naruto was implying he didn't need training. Naruto meditated in silence until Tazuna and his family awoke. He created a clone to stay with Inari and Tsunami while he assisted Tazuna in building the bridge. By the time they returned home, half of the bridge was completed. The following days passed similarly, with progress on the bridge continuing steadily. However, on the third day, Naruto woke up to find that his team had left him behind to help with the bridge. Sensing 2 chakra signatures, he rushed downstairs and discovered Inari trembling with a kunai in front of 2 thugs holding his mother hostage. Naruto swiftly dealt with the men, ensuring Inari and Tsunami were safe before promising to check on Tazuna. Naruto teleported to Kakashi, narrowly avoiding a sword aimed at him. He quickly dispatched several men, most of whom had already been subdued by Kakashi, Sasuke, and Hinata, leaving only Gato and a few others. Gato, in a fit of frustration, insulted Naruto and his allies. Enraged, Naruto's chakra flared, transforming him as he confronted Gato. With a powerful display of strength, he swiftly defeated Gato, sending him into the water. Afterward, Naruto felt a wave of discomfort wash over him as he stared at his hands, muttering about his aversion to blood. Despite the cheers of his teammates, he simply sighed and nodded before returning to help finish the bridge, which was finally completed. The next day, the team prepared to return to their village. They exchanged heartfelt goodbyes, and Naruto disappeared into the crowd, embraced by villagers who thanked him for his help. He had made a significant impact, and the bridge was named in his honor, the Great Naruto Bridge. As the team walked for a while, Naruto remembered he could teleport them back to the village, which he did. Upon arrival, Kakashi instructed them to return home while he reported the mission to the Hokage. Sasuke and Hinata complied, but Naruto took a stroll around the village before heading to the Hokage's office. When he arrived, the Hokage greeted him and asked how he could assist. Naruto expressed his desire to check for any missions available. For the next 2 months, Naruto and his teammates undertook E-rank missions, occasionally tackling C-rank ones. One day, as Naruto approached the Hokage's office, he heard a familiar voice. Turning, he saw Konohamaru being held by the neck by an unfamiliar man. The man noticed Naruto and sneered, asking if something was wrong. Naruto replied that the man was choking the grandson of the first Hokage. Naruto smiled as he addressed Kankuro, who was holding onto a boy, causing the latter to shiver. He warned that if they continued to hurt him, the sand would be ready for another war. Another voice interrupted, urging Kankuro to let the boy go. Naruto turned to see Gaara, the red-haired man, and activated his Rinnegan, sensing the presence of the one-tailed beast within him. The girl who had spoken tried to apologize, but Gaara cut her off sharply. Kankuro released the Sarutobi, and Naruto swiftly caught him. He pointed at Gaara and expressed a desire to speak with him alone. Gaara attempted to retort, but Naruto's Rinnegan silenced him, causing both Kankuro and the girl to fall to the ground, entranced. Konohamaru, witnessing the scene, asked what Naruto had done. Naruto explained that he had placed them in a genjutsu and instructed Konohamaru to return home while he spoke with Gaara. Naruto turned back to Gaara, who glared at him, preparing his sand. Naruto sighed and revealed that he was also a Jinchuriki, which piqued Gaara's curiosity. He elaborated that he was the jailer of the Kyuubi, which prompted a reluctant acknowledgement from Gaara. With a smile, Naruto jumped onto a nearby tree and activated his Rinnegan, transporting himself into Gaara's mindscape, where he encountered Shikaku, the one-tailed beast. Shikaku roared in anger, ready to attack, but Naruto calmly asked if he recognized his chakra. When Shikaku hesitated, Naruto summoned a chakra avatar resembling Ashura behind him. Shikaku then recognized him as Ashura's reincarnation and expressed disdain for Naruto's connection to Kurama, the Kyuubi. Naruto, undeterred, inquired about Shikaku's relationship with Gaara. Shikaku revealed his desire to control Gaara and wreak havoc on the village. Naruto, feigning disappointment, expressed understanding of Shikaku's past and introduced himself. After a moment of hesitation, Shikaku shook Naruto's hand, revealing his name. Naruto offered friendship, promising to be the first human to treat him well. Shikaku found Naruto intriguing, likening him to someone he respected. Naruto asked how he could free Shikaku without harming Gaara. Shikaku proposed sharing some of his chakra, allowing him to remain in Naruto's mindscape instead. When Naruto asked if Shikaku would still torment Gaara, Shikaku acknowledged Naruto's concern and agreed to let Gaara rest. With a fist bump, Naruto bid farewell to Shikaku, who laughed mischievously as Naruto exited the mindscape. Gaara, confused, asked what had transpired. Naruto explained that he had befriended Shikaku and convinced him not to inflict further pain on Gaara. Gaara's eyes widened in disbelief, and he questioned Naruto's honesty, preparing his sand once more. Naruto empathized, sharing his own struggles and extending his hand in friendship. After a moment of hesitation, Gaara accepted, and for the first time, he felt a sense of peace. Once they parted ways, Naruto headed to the Hokage's office but was turned away due to a discussion among the Jounin. He returned home and sat in silence until Kakashi arrived a few minutes later. Greeting him with a smile, Naruto learned that Kakashi had something for him. Kakashi tossed a paper to Naruto, who eagerly opened it, his eyes sparkling with excitement upon realizing they were allowed to participate in the Chunin exams. Kakashi warned that if one teammate didn't participate, the others would be rejected. Naruto nodded eagerly, knowing the warning was exaggerated. A week later, Naruto and his teammates were in the exam room, completing a written test. While Hinata solved most of the questions and Sasuke used his Sharingan to copy the rest, Naruto had already finished and was waiting for them. The atmosphere was tense, with many genin fearing disqualification. After completing the exam, the remaining genin were escorted to the second phase, known as the Forest of Death. The Hokage reviewed Naruto's test results, noting that he had answered every question perfectly, even surpassing Minato's scores. The Jounin gathered around, astonished, except for one proud white-haired man. The Hokage announced the start of the second phase, setting the stage for the challenges ahead. Each participant received a scroll, either a heaven scroll or an earth scroll, and they needed to obtain the other type. Anko explained the rules, emphasizing the importance of signing up for the exam, as there was a significant chance they might not leave the forest. They had only 5 days to reach the tower in the center of the forest with both scrolls. Failure to do so would result in disqualification. Once everyone completed the registration, Naruto and his teammates gathered to receive their scroll, which turned out to be an earth scroll. Soon, the gates opened, and all the teams rushed into the forest. Naruto proposed a strategy, suggesting they split up and regroup using his flying technique. He created 2 shadow clones to create distractions and instructed his teammates to do the same to confuse their opponents. Sasuke, despite his reservations, acknowledged Naruto's cleverness and tactical skills. After a short while, Naruto encountered a team where a girl was being threatened by a bear. Without hesitation, he intervened, using a powerful technique to send the bear crashing into a tree, incapacitating it. He turned to the girl, offering a reassuring smile as he helped her to her feet. The girl, with striking red hair and eyes, expressed her gratitude, though she stuttered in her response. Naruto recognized her as an Uzumaki, which excited him. They shared a brief moment of connection before Naruto decided to move on, wishing her luck without checking her scroll. As he continued, Naruto felt one of his clones disappear, flooding him with its memories. He saw Orochimaru confronting Sasuke, who was distracted by a group of genin. Orochimaru had managed to incapacitate Sasuke with a curse mark. Naruto smirked, remembering he had placed a special sealing formula on the scroll left with Sasuke, which Orochimaru had swallowed. In an instant, Naruto appeared before Orochimaru, swiftly retrieving the scrolls from him. The Sannin, wounded, acknowledged Naruto's identity. Naruto then teleported to Sasuke's side, lifting him into his arms and reappearing next to Hinata, who was facing Guy's team. Naruto greeted Lee warmly but quickly explained he needed to leave with his teammate. Ignoring Niji's protests about Hinata, he dashed toward the tower, reaching it in moments. He placed his teammates down inside the empty rook. Hinata, concerned, asked about Sasuke's condition. Naruto informed her about the curse mark and his plan to seek Kakashi's help, as he was not skilled in sealing techniques. He handed the scrolls to Hinata and teleported away, returning moments later with Kakashi, who was startled by Naruto's sudden appearance. After 5 days, the victors were gathered in an arena where the Hokage and the Genin's teachers were present. The Hokage announced that due to the number of participants advancing, there would be a series of one-on-one matches, with only the winners moving forward. Naruto scanned the competitors and felt a pang of disappointment upon realizing the other Uzumaki had not passed. The matchups were displayed, revealing Sasuke would face Yoroi Akato, Naruto would take on Kiba, and Hinata would battle Niji. Sasuke remained unfazed, while Hinata appeared tense. Naruto encouraged Hinata, reminding her of her training and the advantages she had over her opponent. She nodded, taking a deep breath as they prepared for the matches to begin. Sasuke's match commenced first, and he easily defeated his opponent using a variety of techniques. Following that, Shino triumphed over Zaku, and Kankuro emerged victorious against Misumi. The match between Sakura and Ino ended in a double knockout, disappointing the audience. Next, Tenten faced Temari in a match that intrigued Naruto, as both relied less on ninjutsu. Temari ultimately won. Shikamaru showcased his strategic mind in his match against Kin, securing a win through clever tactics. The highly anticipated battle between Gaara and Rock Lee showcased Lee's impressive strength as he opened several gates, but Gaara won, leaving Naruto on edge as he sensed danger for Lee. Dosu defeated Choji in the following match. Finally, the battle between the two Hyugas began. Hinata and Neji took their stances, ready for combat. As the match started, Neji charged at her, activating his Byakugan. Hinata, however, evaded his attack. Neji taunted her, but she remained composed, focusing on her training. As Neji prepared to unleash a powerful technique, Hinata countered with a wave of chakra, pushing him back and declaring her determination to win. Hinata had been training with Naruto for months, determined to prove that she was no longer the weak girl he used to easily defeat during their sessions. Her tone was different, filled with newfound confidence. Neji, on the other hand, dismissed her with disdain, calling her a spoiled brat and vowing to show the world that the branch family was just as important as the main family, despite their curse. As he charged at her, Hinata surprised everyone by executing the 8 trigram palm's heavenly spin. Neji was sent reeling back, and without hesitation, Hinata struck a tenketsu point near his neck, causing him to collapse to the ground, unable to move. For a tense minute, Neji struggled to rise, but Hinata continued to target his tenketsu points. With the match concluded, the announcer declared Hinata the winner, and the genin erupted in cheers. Naruto quickly appeared beside her, congratulating her and suggesting they take Neji to his sensei. Just then, Guy appeared, greeting Naruto with enthusiasm and taking Neji away as the next match was announced. Naruto Uzumaki vs. Kiba Inuzuka. Kiba boasted about his training and declared he would defeat Naruto. He launched into his Fang over Fang technique, but Naruto simply vanished and reappeared beside him, delivering a powerful kick that sent Kiba crashing out of the arena and into the wall. The crowd fell silent in shock before erupting into cheers for Naruto. With the preliminaries finished, the genin returned home to prepare for the final fight. For a month, Naruto trained lightly, sharing information about Orochimaru with Jiraiya and Tsunade, knowing the snake Sannin was incapacitated. During this time, Naruto honed his skills with his 2-tomo Rinnegan, impressing even the 9 Tails, who began to respect him. Kakashi offered to train him, but Naruto declined, wanting Kakashi to focus on helping Sasuke, whom he hoped would finally see him as a friend. As the month flew by, Naruto was ready to enter the second phase of his ninja career. All the genin who had won in the exams gathered for the finals. Shikamaru was set to face Dosu Kinyuta, but after Dosu's unexpected demise, Shikamaru and Hinata were matched against each other. Despite Shikamaru's intelligence, Hinata's strength prevailed, and he forfeited due to a lack of chakra. Next, Kankuro faced Shino Aburame. Kankuro displayed impressive strength, but Shino emerged victorious. The match between Sasuke and Gaara followed, with Gaara initially dominating with his sand attacks. However, Sasuke unleashed his Chidori, breaking through Gaara's defenses and injuring him. Gaara felt a moment of panic, but the voice of his tailed beast urged him to remain calm, reminding him that Naruto wouldn't want him hurt. With that, Gaara chose to give up, glancing at Naruto, who smiled encouragingly. Naruto's fight against Temari began with her thanking him for helping her brother. Naruto downplayed the significance and suggested they make it quick. Temari brandished her iron fan, and Naruto responded by summoning a sword that split into 2, creating a fan nearly as large as hers. The battle commenced, with both fighters exchanging attacks. Naruto dodged and countered, causing the ground beneath him to shatter. With a smirk, Naruto activated his Rinnegan and unleashed a powerful force that sent Temari flying out of the arena. As she struggled to rise, Naruto appeared beside her with a kunai at her neck, flanked by 3 clones, each armed with a kunai. Temari raised her hands in surrender, and the announcer declared Naruto the winner. The next match was Sasuke against Shino. Shino initially dominated, using his insects effectively, but Sasuke ultimately secured victory with a decisive Chidori strike. Naruto wasted no time teleporting to Sasuke's side, scoffing at him before rushing to Shino. He instructed Shino to bite him, and the injury healed almost instantly, restoring Shino's chakra. After ensuring Shino was taken care of, Naruto teleported away, leaving Sasuke glaring at the spot he had just occupied. Moments later, the three members of Team 7 stood together in the center of the arena, ready for the final showdown. The Hokage announced that the remaining three would battle, with the last one standing declared the winner. Naruto smiled, acknowledging that they wouldn't be together this time, as Hinata and Sasuke nodded, preparing for the fight ahead. Both ran at Naruto, who skillfully dodged their attacks before leaping back. Sasuke appeared beside him in an instant, preparing a Chidori. Just as Naruto was about to evade, Hinata emerged behind him. She threw a few kunai and began teleporting between them to create confusion. Sasuke, using his Sharingan, tracked Naruto's movements and charged at him with his Chidori still ready. Naruto smirked, jumping back and forming a Rasengan, which surprised everyone in the arena. As he clashed with Sasuke, the Uchiha thought victory was within reach until Naruto activated his Rinnegan, leaving Sasuke in shock. With a swift motion, Naruto raised his hand, sending Sasuke flying backward. Feeling a chakra signal, Naruto was caught off guard when Hinata blocked two of his chakra tenketsu, causing him to collapse to the ground. He acknowledged her skill with a smirk, stating that it wouldn't be enough to stop him. Red chakra began to swirl around him, and his eyes transformed, the ground beneath him starting to crack. Gaara watched in awe, realizing it was the chakra of the One Tail. Naruto felt an unfamiliar anger rising within him but brushed it aside. He stood up as if nothing had happened, playfully telling Hinata that blocking a Jinchuriki's tenketsu was futile. In a flash, he appeared behind her, holding a kunai to her head, which crackled with electricity. Hinata, undeterred, reminded him of his teachings about perseverance. She attempted to strike him in the stomach to disrupt his chakra, but he caught her hand effortlessly. Naruto teased her about her efforts, and she retorted that she hadn't intended to succeed in that moment. Sensing another chakra presence behind him, Naruto summoned chains from his back, binding Sasuke, who was struggling to stay upright. With one kunai at Sasuke's neck and chains around Hinata, Naruto was in control. Sasuke, barely able to stand, demanded Naruto to stop playing around and show his true strength. With a sigh, Naruto turned and delivered a punch to Sasuke's stomach, knocking him unconscious. He then smiled at Hinata, complimenting her while noting that she had yet to tap into her full potential. He charged at her, attempting to strike, but she blocked his attack. They exchanged blows, with Hinata on the defensive, dodging and blocking Naruto's relentless strikes. Time passed as they continued their sparring match, with Naruto attacking and Hinata skillfully defending. He noted her extraordinary chakra reserves for a Hyuga, prompting him to activate his Rinnegan. With a final rush, he sent her flying out of the arena, knocking her out. The announcer declared Naruto Uzumaki the winner of the Chunin exams. The crowd fell silent for a moment before erupting into cheers that echoed throughout the village. Naruto beamed at the audience before gathering his teammates to heal them. Once the Chunin exams concluded and Naruto was crowned the victor, it was time to award the Chunin title. Most of the genin expected not to receive it, given Naruto's victory. To their surprise, 4 shinobi were promoted: Naruto, Hinata, Sasuke, and Shikamaru. Among them, one was visibly upset. As everyone began to head home, Naruto and Hinata walked together. Hinata had something she wanted to discuss. She expressed her desire to become stronger. Naruto, eager to help, offered to train with her, but she shook her head, explaining that she wanted to learn from someone with a different fighting style. She didn't want to rely solely on the gentle fist technique. Naruto reassured her that she was never a burden and promised to ask Tsunade if she would train Hinata. Her face lit up with excitement, but Naruto sensed a familiar chakra nearby and sighed, recognizing it as Sasuke's. After arriving at the Hyuga compound, Naruto teleported to his house to send a message to his cousin. 2 days later, Tsunade returned to the village, and Naruto greeted her with an enthusiastic hug. She acknowledged his achievement of becoming a Chunin with a smile. Tsunade then wrapped a necklace around his neck, reminding him that they needed to find Hinata for training. Without delay, Naruto nodded and teleported them to a medical room. Upon arrival, he was surprised to see Sakura and Ino there, who had come to join Hinata's training, believing that a medical ninja would be beneficial. Tsunade agreed to their participation, playfully warning Naruto to disappear before she had to DSPLN him. He rolled his eyes and teleported to the training ground, only to find Guy, Asuma, and Kurenai carrying Kakashi and Sasuke. Concerned, Naruto rushed over and inquired about what had happened. Asuma explained that Itachi Uchiha had attacked the village looking for Naruto. They had fought him, but when Sasuke intervened, Itachi easily defeated him and trapped both him and Kakashi in a genjutsu. Naruto froze momentarily, processing the information, but quickly regained his composure and lifted both Sasuke and Kakashi. He assured the Jounin that he and Tsunade could heal them. Before anyone could respond, he vanished and reappeared beside Tsunade, who was alarmed by the state of her comrades. Naruto had intended to use the healing bite, but since his friends were unconscious, he decided to heal them manually. He laid them gently on the table, his hands glowing with a green hue. The two genin and the Hyuga Chunin gathered around, their eyes fixed on him. Tsunade instructed them to pay close attention, emphasizing that such medical ninjutsu required exceptional chakra control. After about an hour, both Sharingan users awoke, their expressions filled with shock as they took in the scene around them. Naruto then launched into an explanation of the entire incident. Kakashi nodded in response before departing, while Sasuke scoffed and left with his Sharingan activated. Sighing, Naruto exited the office and made his way to the Hokage's office, eager to check for any missions that might help him calm down. 4 days passed, during which Naruto completed various missions. One day, he spotted Sakura Haruno rushing toward him, her face filled with urgency. She stammered that Sasuke had left the village to seek Orochimaru. Naruto's eyes widened in disbelief, realizing that Orochimaru should have been too injured to pose a threat unless he had somehow recovered. Without wasting a moment, Naruto began gathering some genin and chunin to assist him. He explained that if Sasuke had truly been taken by Orochimaru, it was likely that the snake would send a team rather than come himself. He instructed his friends to handle the genin from the chunin exams while he focused on Sasuke. Among those gathered were Hinata, Neji, Shikamaru, Shino, Kiba, and Choji. They nodded in understanding and joined hands with Naruto, who then teleported them to Sasuke, who had just emerged from a box. Seeing Sasuke, Naruto felt a surge of sympathy. He urged Sasuke to return to the village, insisting that Kakashi could offer him better guidance than Orochimaru. Sasuke, however, defiantly declared that he would pursue the power he needed for revenge, regardless of the consequences. As the shinobi around Sasuke charged at the genin, Naruto teleported beside Sasuke, ready to intervene. His fellow genin split up to face their opponents, while Naruto sent shadow clones to assist them. In the chaos, Sasuke scoffed and took off, prompting Naruto to chase after him. Despite easily surpassing Sasuke's speed, Naruto knew he had to find a way to stop him. They soon reached the Valley of the End, where Sasuke stood atop Madara Uchiha's statue, while Naruto positioned himself on Hashirama Senju's. Naruto called out to Sasuke, urging him to stop and return to the village, suggesting that Kakashi could be a better mentor than Orochimaru. Sasuke remained silent, activating his cursed seal and glaring at Naruto before launching himself toward the river. Naruto followed suit, and as Sasuke attacked, Naruto deftly dodged, then teleported next to him to deliver a kick. Sasuke blocked the kick but was pushed back against the Hashirama statue, causing it to crack. Naruto scoffed and aimed a kick at Sasuke, creating a massive wave of water that forced Sasuke to retreat. Sasuke expressed his frustration, claiming that if he couldn't surpass Naruto, he would never be able to defeat Itachi. In retaliation, he unleashed a fireball, which Naruto narrowly avoided before performing hand signs. 30 spheres of yellow electrical energy materialized beside him, which he launched toward the water. Sasuke leaped to the statue, glaring at Naruto as the water crackled with electricity, leaving the area around them untouched. Naruto sighed and activated his Rinnegan, enveloped in red chakra. He felt a surge of power and thanked Kyuubi mentally, though he received no response. The red chakra manifested into 4 tails, and Naruto turned his attention back to Sasuke, who had transformed, his appearance altered dramatically. Naruto commented on Sasuke's new form, likening him to a decomposed bird. Sasuke, now surrounded by lightning chakra, prepared to attack. Naruto, with his four tails swirling around him, created a massive Rinnegan that glowed orange. As Sasuke flew toward him with his Chidori, Naruto used his chakra to float above the ground. The two collided, the impact sending shockwaves through the area. Naruto regained his balance while Sasuke was thrown back, crashing into the Hashirama statue. Seizing the opportunity, Naruto teleported next to him and delivered a powerful kick to his stomach, sending Sasuke flying and rendering him unconscious. With a heavy heart, Naruto murmured that it was enough and let the red chakra dissipate. He picked up Sasuke and began the journey back to the village, his clones fading away as they shared their memories of the battles fought. Upon arriving, he found his friends waiting for him, smiles lighting their faces. Naruto informed Kakashi that Sasuke was unconscious but that he had already healed him. It took Sasuke the entire day to awaken, and when he finally did, he pushed Naruto away when he attempted to speak. Naruto respected his friend's need for space and decided to rest. Later, to his surprise, the third Hokage and his two students were waiting for him inside his house. Naruto smirked, teasing them about entering without permission. Tsunade retorted, expressing her frustration with him, and Naruto inquired about the reason for their visit, wondering why the Hokage and two legendary Sannin were in his home. Jiraiya mentioned that they would start moving in nearly 2 years. Hiruzen added that it would be wise for Naruto to leave the village to enhance his abilities and strengthen himself, as the moment he fell into their hands, the world would change for the worse. Tsunade offered that he could take one of them with him for training, but reminded him that the fate of the world rested on his shoulders. Naruto, shocked, questioned if the Akatsuki were truly that powerful. The following day, Naruto went around the village, saying his goodbyes to his friends and taking their chakra samples to communicate with them through flare. By midday, only Hinata remained. They sat atop Hokage Mountain, above his father's head, where Naruto decided to explain his situation. He informed her that he would be leaving the village for nearly 3 years. Hinata, taken aback, stuttered out her surprise and asked why he had to leave. Naruto explained that the Akatsuki, a group of rogue ninjas, were after him for unknown reasons, and he needed to train to ensure both his safety and that of the village. He would be leaving that night. Hinata sighed, looking him in the eye before blushing and looking away. She insisted on accompanying him and his sensei, but Naruto replied that she should focus on her training with Tsunade and enhance her abilities with Neji. He clarified that he would not be taking a sensei with him. When she asked who would train him, he explained that he would split his training between the toads at Mount Mayaboku, the slugs at Shikatsu Forest, and the phoenixes at Aokigahara over the next 3 years. Hinata wished him good luck, and Naruto smiled at her, giving her a hug and whispering a quiet thank you. He spent the rest of the day with his friends, sharing notes about training and explaining how he would spend his time away. As midnight approached, Naruto stood with his friends, the Hokage, the 2 Sannin, and Kakashi in front of him. He said his final goodbyes and had one last conversation with Sasuke. He informed Sasuke that Jiraiya would train him, as he was nearly as powerful as Orochimaru, and that Kakashi would be the best choice for training with the Sharingan. Sasuke nodded in response, shaking Naruto's hand. With that, Naruto left the village and began his journey into the realms of the summons that would train him. He first arrived at Mount Mayaboku, where he sought out the 2 great sage toads to learn Senjutsu and Master Sage Mode. Naruto practiced connecting with nature, believing the toads would merely observe. However, Fukasaku kept correcting him with a staff to prevent him from absorbing too much natural energy. Naruto progressed rapidly through the training stages, earning praise from Fukasaku for catching up to Jiraiya so quickly. It took him only 6 days to achieve a perfect Sage Mode, nearly a month less than it took his father. Once he mastered Sage Mode, Fukasaku and Shima taught him Frog Kata. After mastering the fighting style, Fukasaku attempted to fuse with Naruto as he had with Jiraiya, but this proved impossible due to the 9-tailed demon fox sealed within him. Concerned that his training might be in vain, Naruto sought a way to achieve perfect Sage Mode without Fukasaku and without splitting his chakra using shadow clones. To accomplish this, He left the land of the toads and traveled to the forest of the slugs, where he continued his senjutsu training. While Slug Sage Mode focused primarily on healing, he aimed to master it for its ability to absorb chakra. By transferring a small amount of chakra to the great slugs, he could then channel it into the trees of the forest, allowing him to continuously absorb senjutsu chakra. In addition, he learned to utilize acid-based jutsu, a skill the slugs, especially Katsuyu, excelled at. His training lasted 6 months, equal to the time spent with the toads, during which he learned about both types of Sage Mode he intended to combine. Next, he headed to the land of the Phoenixes, Ekigahara. The Phoenixes were not senjutsu users, primarily summoned for transportation rather than combat, so senjutsu was not useful to them. However, he was drawn there by his late mother's summon, who indicated that the Phoenixes possessed something more valuable than any Sage Mode: deep knowledge of the Rinnegan. The Phoenixes had been present since the time of Kaguya and had formed a close bond with her and her son, Hagoromo. Through this bond, they learned about the Rinnegan, as the sage had shared the prophecy of the child born with the fire of a god burning in his eyes. The Phoenixes taught Naruto about the 6 paths and the outer path, explaining that his special Rinnegan ability would be unlocked after achieving his Mangekyo upgrade. He learned that upon achieving 2 more Sharingan enhancements, he would gain his personal Mangekyo abilities and unlock his unique Rinnegan power. Additionally, once he acquired a close friend's Mangekyo, he would inherit that person's abilities. Naruto trained for a year and a half with his Rinnegan, enhancing his senjutsu control, expanding his ninjutsu arsenal, and sharpening his skills in genjutsu, taijutsu, kinjutsu, and fuinjutsu. Throughout this time, he kept in touch with his friends. He received weekly letters from Hinata, sharing updates about her training and Sasuke's progress. Sasuke only began sending letters when the 2nd year was nearly over. After discovering that Sasuke had formed a contract with snakes, Naruto suggested snake sage training, believing it would suit him. However, Sasuke declined, opting to focus on other aspects of his training, as the curse mark already provided him with abilities similar to Sage Mode. Hinata dedicated herself to mastering medical jutsu while honing her Hyuga skills, including the twin lion fists. Kakashi also trained diligently, working to enhance his chakra levels, an area where he felt he was lagging behind. By the end of 2.5 years, Naruto was finally ready to return home to his family, transformed into a whole new person. As Naruto arrived at the village gate, he was suddenly ambushed by a flurry of lightning-infused kunai. He dodged them effortlessly, wondering if this was how Sasuke welcomed his missing teammate. Sasuke appeared before him in an instant, prompting a smile from Naruto. He quickly embraced the Uchiha, and together they walked toward the training ground. Upon arrival, they spotted Hinata sparring with Kakashi. Naruto greeted them enthusiastically, and they all shared a warm reunion, exchanging stories from the past 2.5 years. Suddenly, a letter dropped from above, delivered by a clone of his Phoenix summon. Naruto opened it and recognized Gaara's handwriting. The letter revealed that the Akatsuki had attacked Gaara's village and killed his father, urging Naruto to come quickly. Stunned, Naruto stood up, ready to teleport. Kakashi, noticing his distress, inquired about what had happened. Naruto informed them of Gaara's dire situation, and Hinata insisted they help. Determined, Naruto prepared to teleport, but Kakashi insisted they all go together. They placed their hands on Naruto's shoulders and teleported next to Gaara. Naruto landed and saw Gaara lying motionless. He called out to him, holding his hand, feeling a wave of despair wash over him. In that moment, his eyes transformed, revealing the Rinnegan. Fueled by rage, he summoned the King of Hell, snatching Gaara's soul and placing his body within it, ignoring the questions from his teammates. Just as he completed the process, he felt a sharp pain from a black chakra rod piercing his hand. Minutes passed before the King of Hell expelled Gaara, who returned, albeit temporarily. Gaara, confused, asked what had happened, and Naruto explained how he had used the chakra from the One-Tails to bring him back. Kakashi urged them to focus on finding the Akatsuki instead of dwelling on the details. Naruto agreed, and they quickly split up to pursue their targets. As they moved, Naruto asked Gaara if he could still use his magnet release. Gaara raised his arm, summoning sand around them, and Naruto nodded, continuing to run with Gaara close behind. Suddenly, a clay dragon was launched at them, but Naruto swiftly slashed through it with his sword. Deidara, the Akatsuki member responsible, was knocked off his dragon by Naruto's kick. Sasori attempted to follow but was halted by Gaara's sand, which threw him back. Naruto seized Deidara by the neck, activating his Rinnegan to capture his soul. Deidara, surprised, kicked Naruto away, but he landed gracefully on a tree. Deidara then summoned 5 gigantic clay dragons, challenging Naruto about his art. Naruto, both shocked and impressed, acknowledged Deidara's power and complimented his chakra. With determination, Naruto unleashed his sword, enveloped in lightning, and prepared to strike. He pierced the ground, sending lightning crackling through the air, shattering the dragons into smaller clay creatures. As he fought through them, he sensed Deidara approaching from behind. Activating his Rinnegan, he used Shinra Tensei to blow Deidara away. The battle intensified as Deidara launched small clay constructs at him, but Naruto countered. With Shinra Tensei again, Deidara, undeterred, prepared for another attack, but Naruto summoned 10 clones to engage him in hand-to-hand combat. Seizing the opportunity, Naruto restrained Deidara with adamantine chains, nullifying his chakra. After a moment, Deidara fell to the ground, panting, and Naruto shattered the chains. Deidara, slowly rising, expressed gratitude for Naruto's respect for his art while feeding clay to a mouth on his chest. Confused, Naruto watched as dark veins spread across Deidara's arms, and energy beams began to form around him. Just before Deidara could explode, Naruto teleported to Hinata's side, narrowly saving her from the blast that obliterated everything nearby. Hinata, concerned, rushed to Naruto, asking if he was okay and what had happened. Naruto reassured her, stating that the Akatsuki member was finished. Naruto pointed at the remnants left behind by Sasori and remarked that he could say the same about the situation. Sasuke, standing next to Sasori's body, explained that they had found Gaara fighting him and decided to help, noting that Sasori wasn't particularly powerful. Naruto then inquired about Kakashi and Gaara's whereabouts. Hinata informed them that Kakashi had gone with Gaara to bury Granny Chiyo, who had used a technique to bring Gaara back to life, urging him to become a great Kazekage. Naruto nodded, having heard about Chiyo from Tsunade, and lamented that he wouldn't get to meet her. Upon arriving in the village, Team 7 found Kakashi explaining everything to Hiruzen, who welcomed Naruto back. Hiruzen acknowledged Kakashi's report and gave him permission to leave, which he did, leaving Naruto behind. Hiruzen then commented on Naruto's growth, noting that he was stronger than any teenager he had seen and questioned whether Naruto planned to train with the beast inside him, as its chakra could be very useful. Naruto replied that he could access up to 4 tails but didn't want to force Kurama to do anything unless it was offered. Hiruzen respected his choice but mentioned he had a new sensei to assist him. Curious, Naruto asked who it was, and a man in the corner of the room introduced himself as Asuma. Naruto smiled, expressing doubt about Asuma's power. Asuma rolled his eyes and, with a wave of his arm, summoned wood that surrounded Naruto, gradually draining his chakra. Naruto, however, activated his Rinnegan and used a small technique to shatter the wood, surprising Asuma. Before Asuma could react, adamantine chains ensnared him, restricting his movement and chakra. Naruto then revealed the Hokage necklace, asserting that Asuma could never reach the level of his grandfather. After the chains shattered, Naruto helped Asuma to his feet, noticing that he was still shaken. Apologizing for being a bit lost due to everything that had happened with Gaara, Naruto left the room. He went to the training ground and summoned nearly 100 clones, all of whom began training together. His peaceful training lasted for nearly 2 hours until he sensed 2 chakra signals approaching. Sasuke and Sakura entered the training ground, and Sasuke asked what Naruto was working on. Naruto explained that he was training with his Rasen Shuriken, aiming to learn how to summon it immediately and possibly add more chakra natures to it. After dismissing his clones, he sat down with Sasuke and Sakura. Sakura then commented that Naruto and Hinata seemed well suited for each other, as they were both creating their own jutsus and pushing themselves to learn quickly. Intrigued, Naruto decided to check on Hinata. He teleported to the Hyuga compound, startling Hinata and causing her to trip. As he helped her up, he mentioned that he had come to see how her training was going and suggested they train together. Hinata blushed slightly but agreed, and they began training for several hours. During their session, Hazashi passed by but chose not to interrupt, aware of Naruto's capabilities. Later, Neji joined them, and while Naruto and Hinata felt his presence was intruding on their time, they accepted his offer to train together. As the weeks passed, Naruto and Hinata continued to train alongside their friends and took on small missions. One day, Kakashi approached Hiruzen, asking about Naruto's whereabouts. Hiruzen shared troubling news about 2 Akatsuki members who had killed the two-tailed Jinchuriki and attacked a temple, resulting in the death of the head monk, Chiriku. One monk managed to escape and informed Tsunade, prompting Hiruzen to send a team of ninjas, including his son Asuma, to pursue them. Unfortunately, they had failed due to the strength of the Akatsuki members. Kakashi, concerned, asked about Asuma's fate and was pained to learn that Asuma had lost his life during the mission. Hiruzen explained that Naruto had teleported to assist but arrived too late. Kakashi rushed to Naruto's apartment, finding him sitting on his bed, staring at a spiral he had drawn. Concerned, Kakashi asked if he was okay. Naruto replied that he was fine but inquired about Kurenai, Asuma's partner. Kakashi was surprised to learn that Kurenai was P'Arginin T, and Naruto explained that he had sensed the child's chakra when he spoke to her about Asuma. They sat in silence, and Naruto expressed his guilt for not being there for Asuma, lamenting that he had been visiting Gaara instead. A week passed before Naruto felt ready to accept any missions. He only agreed to join because Shikamaru asked him to. The new Team 10 prepared to continue Asuma's mission to take down the 2 Akatsuki members, but Hiruzen refused to let them go without a captain. Kakashi volunteered to temporarily fill the gap, and the 4-man team set off. Naruto received a letter from Shikamaru while they were leaving the village, expressing his desire for their team to help. He approached the Hokage with his 2 teammates by his side, stating his intention. Hiruzen inquired if they had a sensei accompanying them. Naruto replied that they were all chunin, but if a sensei was necessary, they would welcome the wood-release user. Hiruzen agreed and instructed them to prepare while he checked if the sensei would join them. Naruto and his teammates returned to his apartment to gather their belongings, determined to assist regardless of the Hokage's approval. A few hours later, they stood at the village gates, ready to embark on their mission. Yamato asked if the Hokage had provided them with the route to track their targets. Sasuke instructed him to touch Kakashi's shoulders, and they instantly appeared next to him. Ino greeted them with a question about their delay, while Naruto, activating his Rinnegan, asked where their targets were. Ino explained that she had used her mind-body switch technique on a crow to locate the duo, and they needed nearly another day to find them. Naruto nodded, and the others remained silent, knowing that this fight was primarily for the Uzumaki and the Nara. As they continued their journey, they discussed plans that Naruto chose to ignore. Once they located the duo, everyone hid in the bushes, ready for their strategy. Shikamaru stealthily maneuvered his shadow toward Haiden and Kavu, who narrowly avoided capture. He then prepared to throw 2 explosive kunai, but Naruto intervened, using his Shinra Tensei to blast the 2 away. Ino's cries for caution went unheard as Naruto jumped away, summoning 5 clones that charged at Kazu. He used Shinra Tensei again on Haiden, sending him flying toward Shikamaru, who was prepared to finish the Akatsuki member. Shikamaru declared that no one would interfere except Kakashi as he leaped toward Haiden. Naruto charged at Kakazu, wielding his sword and adamantine. He began slashing at Kakazu, who fought back with his kunai. Naruto pressed the attack, using his lightning-infused sword and 2 clones to keep Kakazu on the defensive. Just as Kakazu prepared to counterattack, Kakashi stealthily approached and struck him through the heart with his lightning cutter. Naruto stood still, shocked to see that Kakuzu was still alive. Kakuzu retaliated by kicking Kakashi back, but Naruto swiftly kicked him in the face, sending him flying. Kakuzu, now revealing his true form, spoke ominously as black threads emerged from his body, and 4 masks fell to the ground, one shattered. Naruto remarked that he would have loved to help but wouldn't leave any lives behind. He summoned his clones and charged at Kakuzu, bombarding him with attacks. Kakuzu retaliated, using 3 of his masks to unleash powerful wind, water, and lightning attacks. Just as Naruto prepared to dodge, Hinata appeared in front of him, using her heavenly spin to protect him. Naruto insisted that this was his fight, but Kakashi interjected, stating that it was their fight together. He unleashed a Chidori at Kakuzu's heart, but Kakuzu managed to evade it. As Kakuzu taunted them, Sasuke swiftly struck with his own Chidori, nearly reaching Kakuzu's second heart. With a playful remark, Natatai summoned 4 clones, 2 of which attacked Kakuzu while the rest of the team engaged him. Kakuzu boasted about surviving against the first Hokage, but Kakashi confidently stated that he wouldn't survive against his grandson. Just then, a Rasen Shuriken struck Kakuzu, sending him flying back as the technique unleashed countless microscopic wind blades that damaged him on a cellular level, shattering his remaining hearts. As he fell to the ground, exhausted, he mumbled about his defeat. Sasuke and Hinata joined Naruto, and the 3 began to giggle, relieved by their victory. Naruto expressed his fatigue, mentioning that he hadn't slept in a week and felt ready to rest now. Later, Naruto sat with Hinata, discussing their concern for their teammate who had been absent from the village for an entire day without explanation. While they talked, a message appeared above Naruto, and he recognized it as coming from Sasuke. He learned that Sasuke had taken down Orochimaru and freed his prisoners but needed help, revealing that he had done something they might not like. Naruto muttered about his frustration, and he held Hinata's hand as they were teleported next to Sasuke, who had a girl by his side. Naruto recognized the girl as Karin, whom he had last seen during the Chunin exams. She rushed to him and gave him a quick hug. Sasuke explained that he had saved Karin from Orochimaru, but they had to fight back against the others, resulting in their defeat. Hinata noted the scent of blood but also sensed that Sasuke's chakra was full. Naruto speculated that it was something more sinister, to which Sasuke clarified that Karin had replenished his chakra with her chakra bite. They decided to return home, and Naruto asked Hinata to take Karin and show her around the village, suggesting that she might move in if there was no other place for her. Hinata agreed, and they left together, chatting quietly. Sasuke attempted to speak, but Naruto interrupted him, expressing concern about Orochimaru's influence over him and why he hadn't asked for help in taking him down. Sasuke explained that Orochimaru had been communicating with him daily due to the curse mark, and he had taken him down easily because Orochimaru was weak. Naruto pressed further, questioning why there was still chakra from Orochimaru within him. Sasuke revealed that he had absorbed Orochimaru after he attempted to take over his body. Naruto, expecting this answer, approached Sasuke with a calm demeanor and placed a hand on his shoulder, prompting Sasuke to brace for a reprimand. Instead, Naruto simply asked if he felt okay. His chakra feels really dark, Naruto thought as he observed Sasuke. The Uchiha sighed and nodded in agreement. He admitted that the power was strange, but he was willing to adapt if it meant he could confront Itachi. Naruto shook his head and took a seat, followed closely by his teammate. He expressed his doubts about Sasuke's newfound strength, stating that it wouldn't be enough to defeat Itachi, who could easily overpower Orochimaru. Sasuke felt a chill at Naruto's words, sensing the implication that he wasn't strong enough. Naruto reassured Sasuke that he could seal Orochimaru away to prevent him from using his powers against them, but he chose not to, believing that Orochimaru's abilities would ultimately aid Sasuke. They would train together until the time came for Sasuke to face Itachi, after which they would deal with the snake once and for all. Sasuke nodded slightly, and Naruto teleported them both to the training ground. For a month, they trained relentlessly until Sasuke collapsed from exhaustion. Naruto helped him recover his chakra and stamina. He even crafted an adamantine sword for Sasuke, training him with it daily, believing it would be crucial in his battle against Itachi. During this time, Naruto kept a secret from everyone his encounter with the older Uchiha 2 weeks into their training. On a mission to retrieve a missing scroll from the Fuinjutsu section, Naruto found himself face to face with Itachi, who held the scroll. Itachi greeted Naruto, expressing his desire to speak with the boy who had saved his brother from Orochimaru. Naruto acknowledged the statement but downplayed the notion of saving. He was prepared for any deception from the Uchiha. Itachi was taken aback by Naruto's confidence and trust. He inquired about Sasuke's training, to which Naruto replied that it was going well, but Sasuke still couldn't defeat Itachi. He decided not to reveal the truth about the Uchiha massacre until he was certain of Itachi's intentions, as he believed Itachi's plan motivated Sasuke to push himself. Itachi confirmed that he was aware of the truth behind the massacre, having learned it from Jiraiya, Naruto's teacher. As their conversation continued, Itachi prepared to dispel his clone. However, Naruto handed him a scroll containing a pill he had been developing. While it wouldn't cure Itachi's chakra illness, it would help him survive until Sasuke was strong enough to fulfill his goals. Itachi accepted the scroll, and as he transformed into crows, one of them flew into Naruto's mouth. Naruto sensed no ill intentions and trusted the older shinobi. Meanwhile, another clone of Itachi infiltrated the village to confront Sasuke, taunting him about his weakness, which Sasuke reported back to Naruto upon his return. Naruto felt a storm brewing, aware that his primary responsibility was to train his teammates. Naruto and his team were dispatched to Kumogakure and Sunigakure to deliver a scroll personally written by the Hokage to their leaders. The journey took nearly 3 days to reach the village hidden in the clouds, and another day to depart. On their way out, Naruto encountered a man radiating tailed beast chakra. He stopped the man, introducing himself. The muscular man introduced himself as B, claiming he could rap. Naruto tilted his head, intrigued, and inquired about the tailed beast sealed within him. The man was shocked to learn that Naruto was the Kyuubi's jailer. He revealed that he held the Gyuki, known as Hachibi. Naruto smiled, placing his hands on the man's shoulders before activating his Rinnegan and entering his subconscious. Gyuki was startled to see the Rinnegan and prepared to defend himself, but Naruto introduced himself as the Jinchuriki of Kurama. The eight-tailed beast was surprised that Naruto knew Kurama's name, as he typically kept it a secret. Azura then appeared beside Naruto, explaining that Naruto was his reincarnation and a descendant of his brother's reincarnation. He reassured Gyuki, who relaxed in their presence. The Bijou raised his fist, and Naruto eagerly bumped it, feeling a surge of chakra flow into him. B and Azura watched in amazement as Naruto conversed with the beast as if they were old friends. Soon after, Naruto exited the man's mindscape, bidding farewell to Killer B before teleporting with his teammates to the Sand Village. They delivered the scroll to Gaara and then teleported back to their own village. Naruto led his teammates to his favorite ramen shop, where they enjoyed a peaceful meal. While savoring his second bowl, Kakashi appeared behind him, exuding a serious aura. He instructed them to hurry, as the Hokage requested their presence. The three tensed at the urgency in his voice but quickly stood and made their way to the Hokage's office. Outside the building, 2 toads from Mount Myaboku awaited them. Naruto sensed that Jiraiya was not around. The 2 toads accompanying Kakashi tensed, which did not go unnoticed by Naruto and his friends. As they walked into the office, Naruto stumbled a few times, causing confusion among his teammates. He did not want to think about what had happened. Upon entering the office, he froze at the sight of the 2 great toads. The moment was heavy with tension. Pa delivered the devastating news that Jiraiya had been killed during a mission to the Hidden Rain. Naruto let out a loud sigh and fell to his knees, causing his companions to gasp in shock. In an instant, he vanished from the room, leaving everyone behind in confusion and despair. He reappeared in a pool of water tinged with red, where he found Jiraiya's lifeless body. His eyes widened as his Rinnegan activated. He held the fallen Sannin and teleported back to the Hokage's office, placing Jiraiya's body on the ground before collapsing to his knees, clutching his head in pain. Sasuke approached, touching Jiraiya's limp form, while the others remained frozen, witnessing the grief that erupted from both Naruto and Sasuke. Sasuke's eyes transformed as his 3 tomos spiraled into 3 intersecting ellipses. Naruto screamed, his Rinnegan swirling until 3 additional tomo appeared, marking the awakening of his Mangekyo Sharingan. Sasuke stood still while Naruto lost consciousness, only for Hinata to catch him. Sasuke directed the Hokage and Tsunade to explain everything later. Hinata held Naruto in her arms as they left the office, taking him home and tucking him in. She sat beside him, reflecting on how much chakra he had expended to the point of passing out. Kakashi noted that Naruto's Rinnegan required immense energy to evolve, and the strain he put on his body was dangerous. He had been constantly refilling his and Sasuke's chakra, training, going on missions, and helping at healing centers, all of which was unhealthy. Hinata sighed sadly, holding Naruto's hand, which he instinctively clutched and cuddled. Her face flushed red as he snored loudly, causing both of them to erupt in laughter. Kakashi sensed a wave of killing intent emanating from the Hokage's office but chose to remain silent, recalling his own reactions to similar situations. The following day, Naruto awoke with the help of Hinata, Sakura, and Karin, who restored his chakra. Sasuke explained everything, but Naruto could only nod, still not fully ready to process the information. Like many shinobi in the village, he attended Jiraiya's funeral, where he helped bury him. After the ceremony, Sasuke handed Naruto a piece of paper that read, "The Story of Naruto Uzumaki." A smile spread across Naruto's face as he looked at Kakashi, who was engrossed in the unfinished book Jiraiya had left behind. It was his story, and he would choose how it ended. When Naruto arrived at the training ground, he saw Sasuke preparing with Kakashi, Hinata, and Guy. He asked where they were heading without him. Guy explained that Itachi had informed Sasuke of his location, and Kakashi had decided to accompany them, despite Sasuke's initial reluctance. Sasuke gripped the handle of his sword, activating his Mangekyo. Naruto insisted he was going too, and Hinata handed him his sword with it. But as they set off, Naruto inquired about their destination. Guy informed him it was an old Uchiha hideout, where they would face Itachi's Akatsuki partner while Sasuke dealt with Itachi himself. Naruto nodded, ready to assist. Upon arrival, Naruto placed his hands on Sasuke's shoulders, offering his help. Sasuke hesitated until he felt chakra flowing into him from Naruto. Naruto explained that since he would not be allowed to fight, he would provide Sasuke with extra chakra to help him win. Sasuke sighed and entered the building. Naruto's clone and their allies confronted Kisame. The moment the clone had an opportunity, he teleported them all away, leaving Naruto behind to wait for the right moment to intervene. He listened intently as the battle unfolded, hearing the two combatants exchange blows and discuss the Mangekyo Sharingan while showcasing their unique abilities. He learned of Madara and the potential blindness that came with the Mangekyo, as Itachi revealed that the only way to prevent it was to take the eyes of another Mangekyo user. This was why he had spared Sasuke's life and pushed him to grow stronger. The fight continued, escalating to the rooftop as rain began to fall. Sasuke declared that his new technique was unavoidable, and Naruto suspected it was the jutsu Sasuke had been developing in secret. Sasuke unleashed his final technique, Kirin, summoning a massive lightning creature fueled by the Great Dragon Fire technique. Naruto watched in awe, both at the power of the jutsu and the strategic brilliance behind it. As the smoke cleared, Itachi appeared within his Susen. Sasuke pressed on, launching various jutsu and using his Mangekyo to its limits. Suddenly, giant snakes emerged from Sasuke, revealing Orochimaru within one of them. Having exhausted nearly all his chakra, Sasuke could no longer suppress Orochimaru, leading to the snake's demise. Itachi swiftly sealed Orochimaru with the sword of Totsuka, trapping him in an eternal dream. Itachi then challenged Sasuke, questioning if that was all he had. Sasuke attempted to attack Itachi once more, but his efforts were in vain as all his strikes were deflected by the Yata Mirror, a powerful aspect of Susanoo that repelled any assault aimed at Itachi. The force of his own attacks sent Sasuke sprawling to the ground, and in that moment, Naruto recognized the need to intervene. Itachi approached his younger brother, searching for the eyes that filled Sasuke with dread. When he reached Sasuke, he gently poked his forehead and expressed his regret, stating that there would not be another chance. This left Sasuke in a state of confusion. Sasuke, weary yet still aware, fell to his knees. Naruto activated his Rinnegan and positioned himself beside Itachi. Suddenly, white flames enveloped Itachi, causing him to cry out in distress. Sasuke stammered that Itachi was meant to be his target. However, Naruto firmly declared that no one would harm him. As the flames subsided, Itachi appeared unscathed, rising to his feet with a renewed vigor. He looked at Naruto, bewildered by his recovery. Naruto explained that he possessed unique Mangekyo abilities, capable of healing rather than causing destruction. As he healed Sasuke, the younger Uchiha stood up and charged at Itachi, only to be restrained by Naruto. Naruto instructed Itachi to explain everything to Sasuke, deeming it pointless to continue the conflict. Itachi sighed and prepared to share the truth while Naruto stepped outside the compound to give the brothers some time to reconnect. After an hour, Sasuke and Itachi emerged together. Itachi revealed that Sasuke had intended to destroy Konoha but had been persuaded to only target Danzo. Naruto acknowledged this when he suddenly sensed a significant chakra presence approaching the village. The Akatsuki had arrived. Naruto stood up, joined by his teammates, who were also on high alert. He recalled the information from Jiraiya and Itachi, noting that there were 6 paths of pain along with Konan. Itachi would remain outside the village while Hinata, Sasuke, and the support of Hiruzen, Tsunade, and Kakashi would confront the Asura, Naraka, and human paths, with Itachi's assistance. Naruto planned to take down the human path with the help of his summons and Sasuke's snake, as well as the Preta and Deva paths before joining them. Sasuke raised a concern about the healing team, pointing out that Hinata, being a healer, should not engage in battle before ensuring everyone was safe. Naruto reassured them that if no one was hurt, there would be no need for healing. He explained that with his adamantine chains, he would create a chakra shield around the village, preventing any attacks from reaching the villagers. Sasuke noted the risk involved, as maintaining the shield and using his Rinnegan would consume a lot of chakra. Hinata agreed with his assessment. Naruto countered that he had Kurama's chakra at his disposal, which allowed him to tap into additional power, and he would be constantly replenishing his energy. He activated Sage Mode, and the 2 Uchiha nodded in understanding. Naruto placed his hands on their shoulders and teleported them outside the village, where Hiruzen, Kakashi, and several special Jonin awaited them. With determination, Naruto rallied everyone, and they prepared for the confrontation. He unleashed his chains, forming a protective barrier around the village, and their attention turned to the 7 figures that materialized before them. The Deva path proclaimed that the world would know pain. Naruto, resolute, muttered that he would show them pain. He leaped into action, launching a powerful attack that sent shockwaves through the air. The other paths and Konan moved to engage him, but Naruto swiftly teleported to the ground. His assigned team confronted the 3 paths and Konan while he faced off against 2 of the paths. The human path summoned its creatures, preparing for battle, while the Preta path readied itself for a physical confrontation. Just as Naruto was about to summon his own creatures, he was struck by the Deva path. The impact sent him crashing against the barrier, where a Jonin caught him. One of the Jonin called out, asking if they should assist him. Naruto shook his head and summoned 2 clones. One clone charged at the human path while the other targeted the Preta path, leaving Naruto to confront the Deva path alone. The clone unleashed its Rinnegan summons, which clashed with Pain's creatures and Naruto's toads. The clone confidently declared victory as the summons engaged in battle. Meanwhile, the other clones focused on the Preta path, utilizing Taijutsu and Bokujutsu, knowing it was not the primary threat. The Deva path questioned Naruto's motives, expressing a desire to save the world from its cycle of hatred. Naruto dodged an attack and countered with his sword, asserting that pain was not the solution. The Deva path insisted that it was the best path to achieve peace. Naruto scoffed and summoned 2 clones to assist him in executing a Raisin Shuriken. He hurled it at the Deva path, who narrowly dodged, only to be ensnared by Naruto's chains. With determination, Naruto confronted him, accusing the Deva path of killing his sensei and countless innocent shinobi in the name of peace. As Naruto unleashed a powerful attack, the Deva path struggled to rise, anger evident in his demeanor. The seal on his stomach expanded, enveloping his entire body as he prepared for the next phase of their battle. He immediately summoned a portion of Katsuyu. Naruto ordered the slug to split and distribute his chakra to everyone outside the village, and it nodded in agreement. As it split, Naruto prepared to attack again, declaring his intention to save the world from the Deva's misguided ideals. The Deva roared in response, promising to show Naruto pain. Floating in the air, the Deva's other paths fell to the ground, devoid of chakra. As he jumped down to perform his final attack, Naruto smirked. Just as the Deva was about to land, Naruto unleashed his sword, charged it with lightning, and leaped, executing a swift slash that incapacitated the Deva. Without hesitation, he summoned a group of clones that rushed at the remaining paths. The clones teleported and swiftly incapacitated the paths, preventing them from reforming. Naruto then seized one of the black receivers from the Deva's head before teleporting next to Itachi, who was preparing to confront Konan. Naruto intervened, wrapping Konan in his chains and asserting his intention to take her with him. He urged Itachi to deal with Danzo once and for all, despite Itachi expressing concerns about their chakra levels and his impaired vision. Naruto sighed and commanded the Mini-Katsuyu to return his chakra to the siblings. He reassured Itachi that they would address his eyes later and stated his intention to confront Pain. The two Uchiha nodded silently before rushing toward Danzo. Hinata calmly held Naruto's shoulders, wishing him safety. He reassured her that she need not worry, kissing her forehead before walking away. Holding the nearly unconscious Konan in his arms, Naruto rushed to Nagato's hideout. Upon arrival, he entered the paper-made tree, greeted by Nagato, who questioned whether Naruto despised him for his past actions, including the death of Jiraiya. Naruto remained silent, placing Konan on the ground and sitting beside her. He expressed his internal conflict, admitting that he felt intense anger towards Nagato for his actions but also recognized that Nagato had fallen victim to the cycle of hatred. Nagato shared his tragic backstory, recounting how he lost his parents to Konoha ninjas during the Great War and how he had wandered alone until he met Konan and Yahiko. Their journey led them to Jiraiya, but the pain they experienced ultimately turned Nagato toward violence. After hearing Nagato's story, Naruto revealed that he still felt the urge to destroy him but also wanted to help him redirect his power for the greater good. He acknowledged the trust Jiraiya had in him and expressed his desire to bring peace to the world. Nagato challenged Naruto's belief in peace, arguing that it was impossible in their cursed world. Naruto countered that he would break that curse and seize peace, vowing never to give up. He referenced Jiraiya's teachings, explaining that his name was a cherished keepsake from his master, and he could not tarnish that legacy. He declared his commitment to becoming Hokage and bringing peace to the land of Rain, urging Nagato to believe in him. Nagato questioned Naruto's unwavering faith in himself despite the pain he had faced. Naruto acknowledged the uncertainty of future pain but insisted that he would continue to walk his path, as that was who he was. He extended his hand to Nagato, who hesitated but eventually accepted it, recognizing their shared bond as disciples of Jiraiya. Nagato, moved by Naruto's determination, decided to believe in him and reconsider his own path. He began to form a hand seal, but Naruto quickly stopped him, urging him not to sacrifice his life to bring anyone back. Instead, he encouraged Nagato to use his powers to help create a better world. Despite Nagato's physical condition, Naruto insisted on healing him and restoring his strength, emphasizing their bond as brothers in both discipleship and chakra. They embraced, and Naruto carried Konan as they made their way to Konoha. Upon their arrival, Naruto noticed everyone on high alert, ready to confront the wielder of the Rinnegan. He reassured them that Nagato was a friend, a brother, as he rested an arm on Nagato's shoulder. Hiruzen stepped forward, approaching Naruto and the two Akatsuki members, inquiring if he was indeed Pain. The Hokage expressed skepticism about trusting Nagato but acknowledged that if Naruto believed in him, they had no other choice. He welcomed Nagato to Konoha, though he would be placed in jail. Nagato expressed his gratitude. As Naruto released the seal, he noticed the villagers gathered, cheering for him. Among them, Hinata stepped forward, pointing to his heart and declaring him their hero before planting a kiss on him. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise, but he quickly melted into the kiss and reciprocated. The villagers then rushed toward him, congratulating and thanking him, lifting him into the air as he basked in their admiration under the sun. He had become the hero of his village, but he knew he needed the rest of the world on his side. Nagato and Konan were taken for healing. Naruto informed the Uchiha that he would check on Itachi and Sasuke. When Nagato asked if he had helped Itachi return to the village, Naruto explained that Itachi was hiding because the villagers weren't ready to forgive him yet, but he would soon be recognized as the hero he truly was instead of the traitor everyone believed him to be. Upon arriving next to Itachi and Sasuke, Naruto was confronted by a wall adorned with Sharingan. He was puzzled and asked what it was. Sasuke revealed that it was what Itachi had kept from their clan, and Naruto noticed a pair of Fugaku Uchiha's Mangekyo Sharingans. On the table, Itachi admitted to taking them, stating he wouldn't leave them with Danzo. Naruto sighed and sat beside them, pulling out a kunai and stabbing the already deceased Danzo, expressing that while it didn't change anything he wanted to do it. The two Uchiha smiled at him, though Sasuke appeared to be in pain. Naruto noted that they had exhausted their Mangekyo abilities and suggested they switch their Sharingans to gain the eternal Mangekyo. Itachi clarified that one could absorb the other's abilities, but switching would allow them to retain their original powers. After some contemplation, the two agreed to the plan. Naruto instructed them to lie down as he began the procedure. After about 10 minutes, the Mangekyos were successfully switched. Naruto then offered to add Fugaku's Mangekyo to one of theirs, emphasizing that it was not his decision to make. Itachi decided that Sasuke needed it more since he had already achieved the second strongest Susanoo upgrade. Naruto complied, and after another 10 minutes, Sasuke lost consciousness. Naruto joked about Sasuke being out before teleporting both Uchiha to a safe place to rest. He then teleported to the hospital, where he found Nagato with his head down. Concerned, Naruto approached him, only for Nagato to reveal the void that had taken over his eye sockets. Naruto was shocked, and Itachi recognized the presence of Madara. Nagato confirmed that it was indeed Madara. Without hesitation, Naruto knocked Nagato out, intending to remove the rods from his back and heal him. He instructed Itachi to explain everything he knew about the masked man who was the true leader of the Akatsuki. As Naruto worked, Itachi shared all the information he and Nagato had about Madara. After processing the information, Naruto concluded that the likelihood of Madara being his grandfather was slim, given that he lacked the chakra and lifespan to have survived this long, especially since Hashirama Senju had killed him. By the end of their discussion, Nagato was fully healed. Naruto placed him next to Konan so she would see him first upon waking. Itachi inquired if Naruto planned to train with his Susanoo. Naruto replied that training it would be useless for him. He intended to focus on his Mangekyo and Rinnegan special abilities. Itachi pressed him about his Rinnegan specialty and the usefulness of Susanoo as a defense. Naruto explained that the Namikaze clan, descendants of Indra, had the ability to shape chakra according to their will, and once he unlocked his Susanoo, he could manipulate it perfectly. Itachi was taken aback by this revelation but nodded in understanding. Naruto admitted that he still did not know his Rinnegan ability or his Mangekyo ability but felt he had time to discover them. With that, they parted ways to focus on their training. Itachi set off to train with his newly acquired Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, while Naruto traveled to Uzumaki, where he trained without distractions. For nearly a month he worked diligently, unlocking all 3 hidden abilities granted by his dojutsus. During that time, Sasuke and Hinata trained with their respective summons to achieve their personal sage mode. The 5 Kage summit was held to discuss the Akatsuki, but when Naruto suggested accompanying Hiruzen as a guard, he was disappointed to learn that Tsunade and Kakashi were the ones chosen to accompany the Hokage. He had no idea what was coming next. All he knew was that the 8-tailed Jinchuriki had been killed and that he was being sent to an island to train with Kurama. The entire world fell apart as the villages prepared for the 4th Great Ninja World War. Naruto remained uninformed about the situation, as his teammates were advised that telling him would be the worst thing they could do. Instead, Naruto was taken to train with Kurama under the Hokage's orders. He followed the location and instructions provided by the Great Toad Sage. 4 months passed as he searched for the Turtle Island where he was supposed to train. Upon arriving at the island, the crow that Itachi had given him left his body and flew away, leaving Naruto feeling even more suspicious. At the Falls of Truth, Naruto sat in front of the waterfall and closed his eyes when a dark version of himself emerged from the water. This dark Naruto began to insult the real Naruto, calling him an imposter and criticizing his choices. Naruto responded with a scoff. They fought, but Naruto soon realized they were evenly matched, and the battle would likely end in a tie. Kurama's voice echoed in Naruto's mind, pointing out his failures in protecting humanity and achieving the power to keep everyone safe. Naruto smirked and kicked back at his counterpart, declaring that while he may have failed in some areas, he would not give up. He had convinced both Nagato and Sasuke to join the right side and saved countless lives. Just as he had saved them, he would save this dark version of himself from his hatred as well. The dark Naruto simply turned to dust. Naruto entered the cave and sat down, entering his mindscape. He pleaded with Kurama for cooperation, promising freedom in exchange for his powers, believing that something was wrong and that Kurama's negative sensing abilities would be invaluable. Kurama, with a hidden smirk, dismissed him, stating that his powers were not for selfish humans to exploit. With a sigh, Naruto jumped and broke the seal. Kurama immediately broke free from his cage and unleashed a powerful tailed beast ball at Naruto. Activating his Rinnegan, Naruto made the ball disappear. Kurama, surprised, prepared another tailed beast ball. Naruto apologized, expressing his desire to work together rather than against each other. He summoned 5 clones as his Sage mode activated. 4 clones rushed to restrain Kurama while the 5th created a gigantic Rasen Shuriken, which he launched into the tailed beast ball. The impact of the jutsu sent Kurama flying back, and Naruto's Rinnegan glowed slightly. The tailed beast ball reappeared above Kurama, who stared in shock. Naruto summoned chains to restrain Kurama and launched the tailed beast ball at him, knocking him back and rendering him unconscious. As Kurama's chakra surrounded Naruto, he began to glow, entering his tailed beast chakra mode. He apologized for hurting Kurama, promising not to use this power for long. Suddenly, Naruto sensed everything happening in the world, including his grandfather dropping a meteor on a group of shinobi, Gaara among them. He teleported to Gaara, who wondered if this was the power of a god. Naruto unleashed a powerful technique, blasting the 2 meteors away. Gaara and others expressed their joy at Naruto's arrival, while Madara, shocked, questioned who he was. Naruto revealed himself as Madara's great-grandson, provoking a reaction from Madara, who admired Naruto's ocular power. Naruto, determined to impress, activated his Susanoo, which was larger and more magnificent than anything Madara had ever seen. He declared that he would handle Madara until the other Kage arrived. The two engaged in a fierce battle, their Susanoo clashing with incredible force, captivating everyone around them. As they fought for nearly an hour, Gaara and Inoki attempted to assist Naruto with their unique abilities. When Hiruzen, Tsunade, and Mei arrived, Naruto teleported Madara away, creating a clone to stay behind. He then returned to the Kage, who questioned his presence and the source of his chakra. Naruto explained that the world was crumbling and that without his help and Kurama's, they would all be doomed. He instructed them to deal with the old man while he went to assist the rest of the world. Naruto teleported everyone away and summoned 1,000 clones to spread out and help. Meanwhile, the real Naruto teleported to Guy and Kakashi, who were battling the masked man. Just as he was about to speak to Kakashi, he was attacked by the Four Tails. Naruto calmly reassured the beast before leaping onto its nose, dodging its attacks. He sent some clones inside the tailed beast and then focused on the masked man, rushing at him. In an instant, he appeared next to the masked man and attempted to kick him, only for his foot to pass through. Frustrated, Naruto jumped back, realizing that this would be a challenging fight. A clone remained with Kakashi and Guy, continuing to fight the masked man while Naruto checked on the tailed beasts. He entered the mind of the Four Tails, only to find the beast chained up. The Four Tails, introducing himself as Son Goku, expressed his annoyance at being called by his number. Naruto, amused by the beast's high ego, asked how he could help. There was a chakra rod positioned under the beast's chin, and it explained that removing it would break the control over him. A clone quickly appeared and rushed outside to assist in the rod's removal. Naruto, concerned, asked how he could save the beast, noting that breaking the control over its Jinchuriki wouldn't necessarily save him. The The beast assured Naruto that he would definitely be able to help. With determination, the beast held out his fist, and Naruto mirrored the gesture. The beast released some lava alongside his chakra, which flowed into Naruto. Once freed from the beast's mouth, Naruto summoned a multitude of clones to help remove the rods from the other beasts. As the masked man, Kakashi, and Guy prepared to confront their enemy, Naruto launched a barrage of kunai. Guy delivered a swift kick to the masked man's head. Just as the man began to turn back, Naruto teleported and struck the man's mask with a powerful Rinnegan, shattering it. He quickly jumped back to Kakashi, who looked astonished, and Naruto exchanged a glance with Guy, who was equally shocked. The masked man revealed himself as Obito, prompting Kakashi to question if it was truly him. Naruto was taken aback, but before he could respond, he found himself in a room with all the Jinchuriki and their tailed beasts. As everyone introduced themselves, Naruto remained silent, focused on checking on Obito. The tailed beasts surrounded him, offering their chakra, and he fist-bumped each of them before leaving the mindscape. Obito declared that he would show Kakashi what real power looked like as he regained control over the tailed beasts. He ordered them to prepare their beast ball for an attack. Kakashi, standing beside Naruto, prepared to counter the assault, while Naruto readied his Rinnegan. Kurama, the beast within Naruto, warned him to stop, causing Naruto to freeze in front of the tailed beast. Kurama expressed his frustration at Naruto's repeated displays of strength and offered his chakra to help stop those manipulating the tailed beasts. Naruto chuckled, interpreting Kurama's words as a strange way of wanting to be friends, and they fist-bumped once more. As Kurama's chakra flowed into him, Naruto transformed, creating a chakra arm that deflected the incoming beast ball. Naruto confidently ordered Obito to give up, claiming he had enough power to end the conflict. Obito scoffed and used his Kamui to teleport away, taking the tailed beasts with him. Naruto urged Kakashi to help the others, warning that if Obito and Madara combined the tailed beasts, the 10 tails would be reborn, threatening their lives. He provided Kakashi and Guy with chakra cloaks and instructed his clones to distribute chakra to every shinobi in the alliance. Naruto then teleported next to Itachi and Sasuke, only to find their father, Fuga, alongside Nagato and Kabuto, who was forming a peculiar dragon shape. Noticing the blind eye in Fugaku's gaze, Naruto saw Kabuto performing a hand seal and realized he was using Izanami to unsummon the Edo Tensei. Fugaku acknowledged Naruto, expressing pride in him, and Naruto thanked him while noting Itachi's mother's eyes were now with Nagato. Nagato explained that Konan had fought Madara to protect Naruto but had been overpowered. Naruto, moved by the situation, hugged Nagato and whispered an apology before departing. As the Edo Tensei began to escape their fake bodies, Naruto marveled at the sight before teleporting to the Uzumaki temple. Karin greeted him, questioning his delay and explaining she was preparing a mask for him to bring back the souls to assist in the battle. Naruto, with tears in his eyes, accepted the mask and inquired about the white bodies. Karin revealed that Nagato had neutralized the white jutsu without harming them for this purpose. Naruto nodded and summoned 5 souls, each taking a body. A woman spoke tenderly, and Naruto recognized her as his mother, embracing her warmly. Tobirama questioned where they were and why Naruto was using his technique. Konan interjected, pointing out that they were there to help in the 4th Great Ninja War. Hashirama expressed confusion about the war's existence. Naruto urged them to focus, emphasizing the urgency of their mission. After discussing their plan, Naruto teleported everyone next to Kakashi, who was already facing the threat of the 10 tails. Naruto gulped at the sight of the massive creature, but Tobirama reassured him that they would. Stop it. The surrounding shinobi began to cheer, inspired by the presence of the Hokages. However, Naruto's gaze fell upon the lifeless bodies scattered around, filling him with a sense of dread. He vowed that those responsible would pay for the lives lost, pointing at Madara and Obito. Madara dismissed Naruto's anger, but before he could continue, Naruto teleported and struck him, causing significant damage. Obito attempted to retaliate, but Naruto evaded and continued his assault on Madara. Minato joined the fray, entering his tailed beast chakra mode to attack alongside Kushina and Kakashi. While Obito maintained control over the 10 tails, he commanded it to attack the shinobi as he faced the trio. Naruto began to overpower Madara, surprising him with his strength. Just as Madara regained the upper hand and prepared to strike with his Uchiha Gunbai, Sasuke intervened, blocking the attack with his Susanoo and pushing Madara back. Itachi followed suit, launching a barrage of attacks with his own Susanoo. Naruto declared that he didn't need to defeat Madara alone, as he had the support of his allies. As Madara attempted to activate his Susanoo, Hinata struck him with a twin lion fist, draining some of his chakra. Madara shouted for them to stop before unleashing a massive Shinra Tensei that sent everyone flying for miles. Naruto and Sasuke managed to catch Hinata and Itachi in their Susanoos, escaping without serious injuries. Kurama urged Naruto to stop relying on his Susanoo, claiming he was far more powerful. Naruto, however, firmly asserted that he would not use Kurama as a mere tool. Naruto expressed his friendship with Kurama, who mumbled a teasing remark before Naruto transformed into a Kurama chakra avatar. He called everyone over, instructing them that Kurama could heal them. Hinata, concerned, asked if their sensei would be alright as Guy joined the fray, battling against the man while the others fought the 10 tails, aided by Nagato and Konan. Madara, fatigued from the previous attack, felt his chakra replenish instantly. He performed hand signs and unleashed a massive fire attack. Naruto glared at him, activating his Rinnegan to absorb the flames. He declared that Madara would never succeed in his plan, emphasizing that he was fighting a losing battle as his bright blue Susanoo enveloped Kurama. Sasuke suggested that they keep his Susanoo around Kurama instead of Naruto's, noting they would need Kurama's chakra. Naruto warned that this would slightly weaken them and advised Sasuke to enter Sage mode to enhance his Susanoo. Sasuke exited the avatar and activated his Susanoo, which was soon adorned with black markings. As Naruto prepared to continue the fight, he noticed the 10 tails letting out a tremendous roar. Thanks to the Hokage and their combined focus, everyone was safe, allowing them to concentrate on the tailed beast rather than worry about the 2 Uchihas. Suddenly, the 10 tails began to spin as it entered Obito's body. Naruto shouted that Obito was trying to become the Jinchuriki. Itachi offered to assist Sasuke and requested help as he entered his Susanoo. The 2 young Uchihas attacked the older one while Naruto rushed to confront Obito. He urged his grandfather, Hashirama, to help Sasuke and Itachi, who eagerly complied, thrilled to be called Gramps. Kushina explained how Kakashi had subdued Obito, only for Madara to attempt to control him. Upon seeing Hinata, she hugged her before they both moved to assist with the 10 tails clones. Tobirama inquired if Naruto had any insights about the beast. Naruto mentioned that he couldn't sense it, suggesting it was likely nature chakra and that Senjutsu was the key to overcoming it, especially with Obito awakening. As Naruto entered Sage mode, Kurama intervened, manipulating his chakra. Kurama remarked that Naruto didn't need Sage Jutsu when he had his powers. Naruto, undeterred, decided to enter chakra mode, negotiating with Kurama for Sage chakra to defeat Obito. Kurama reluctantly agreed and began to focus. Naruto rushed to assist his allies, who included Tsunade, Kushina, Hinata, Sakura, and Karen. He instructed them to provide their chakra to summon Katsuyu for healing. With the plan set, Naruto returned to his allies, noticing the floating sphere beginning to crack. He transformed into his avatar mode, surrounded by swirling orange energy. As the newly formed Jinchuriki struggled within himself, Minato attempted to intervene, but Obito targeted Naruto, launching an attack. Fortunately, Naruto used his chakra arms to teleport himself and Minato away. In a swift move, Naruto leaped at Obito with a Raisin Shuriken, managing to sever his arm. Minato's former student, recalling Rin and their team, began regaining control of his body, taking on a form reminiscent of the Sage of the Six Paths. After losing his arm, Obito attached a mysterious orb to Minato, which began to expand. A Tobirama clone bravely grabbed the orb, sacrificing himself to thwart Obito's plans. Naruto stood alongside the second and fourth Hokage, and together they combined their flying Thunder God seals to execute their strategy. Naruto created a Raisin Shuriken enveloped in lava, charging at Tobirama, who switched places with the Ten-Tails Jinchuriki. A gash appeared in Obito's chest, prompting him to shout in frustration. Obito unleashed 6 rods around the battlefield, encasing them in a chakra barrier. A massive chakra, adorned with various flowers, began to prepare Tailed Beast Ball for launch. Naruto smirked, taunting Obito about his lack of strategy. Hiruzen cautioned Naruto, sensing that Obito had a plan. Naruto stood beside Tobirama, who glared at the Jinchuriki. He acknowledged Naruto as Kushina's son and shared a light-hearted moment about her being his favorite, urging Naruto not to tell Tsunade. As the Beast Ball were launched, every shinobi was teleported outside the barrier. Hiruzen praised Naruto for his clever use of chakra. Suddenly, the Jubi detached from the Jinchuriki, capturing several shinobi to drain their chakra. Hinata cried out for Neji, and Naruto's eyes widened in alarm as he saw Neji being held by the beast. He quickly teleported next to Neji, severing the arm that held him and leaping away to restore his chakra. Afterward, Neji was slightly out of breath. Kakashi expressed concern for Naruto's chakra levels, noting that he had overexerted himself. Naruto insisted that he was the target, and with only a portion of Kurama's chakra, he and Minato were the focus of their enemies. His Yin seal was released, causing his chakra to surge. Naruto entered Kurama mode, summoning his Susanoo around him, while Minato transformed into his own Kurama avatar. Itachi offered his assistance, standing at the base of Kurama's feet. Naruto inquired about Sasuke and Hashirama's whereabouts. Itachi explained that Hashirama had managed to restrain Madara, but he remained trapped in a barrier, while Kushina, Nagato, and Konan stayed with him, and Sasuke was following Itachi. Naruto ordered everyone to remain on the defense while he blocked an attack from Obito. Itachi nodded and departed as Sasuke jumped into Minato's avatar, surrounding it with a Sage Mode Susanoo. Naruto expressed their intent to restore his student as he and his father charged at Obito. They each summoned a Sage Mode Rasengan in their avatars, aiming to strike him. Obito dodged Minato's attack, but Naruto was quick enough to hit him with his own. They continued to pressure Obito in the air, wearing him down until he was exhausted. The Hokages moved to assist Hashirama against Madara while the shinobi held their ground together. Obito summoned a massive sword and swung it at the two, sending them crashing to the ground. Minato and Sasuke managed to stand, but Naruto lay unconscious, unable to move. Tsunade rushed to him, calling out his name as she tried to awaken him, but her healing was ineffective, her chakra wasn't enough. The others hurried to help, and slowly, Naruto's chakra began to restore, but he needed one more person. Hinata held his hand and encouraged him, whispering that they would win together. As Naruto opened his eyes, he activated his Sage Chakra mode. He acknowledged her support and transformed into his Susanoo-coded Kurama mode, asking for her help. Hinata nodded, and Kurama's hands were enveloped in twin lion fists. Together, they leaped at Obito, draining some of his chakra while Minato and Sasuke struck him, causing a significant blow. Naruto then began to siphon the chakra from the other tailed beasts while Gaara worked to reclaim Shikaku to assist them. Obito struggled against them, knowing that if he allowed the Jinchuriki to succeed, the tree would become a lifeless husk once more. However, the allied shinobi forces, along with Sasuke and Minato, joined in to help Naruto seize the chakra through Minato's Nine-Tails Chakra Mode arms. Within his subconscious, Obito envisioned what his life could have been if he had returned to the village instead of following Madara after Rin's death. He found himself alone against the entire alliance, grappling with feelings of regret. In that moment, Naruto, connected to him empathically, joined him in his mindscape. He reminded Obito that despite his declaration of being no one, he was still Obito Uchiha, a man with dreams. Naruto encouraged him to stop the cycle of destruction, asserting that Rin would never accept his current path. Obito, trembling, struggled to respond, attempting to pull away from Naruto's grasp, only to find other hands holding him. Kakashi spoke firmly, while Minato silently nodded in agreement. As Naruto grasped Obito's hand, the allied shinobi forces succeeded in freeing the tailed beasts. The 3 members of Team Minato began to share their experiences and growth since Rin's death. Kakashi assured Obito that Naruto would not follow his path, as he had many friends to support him. Once the tailed beasts expressed their gratitude for being freed from the Ten Tails, Naruto shifted his focus away from Obito, determined to confront Madara and stop him for good. Naruto and Hinata combined their Susanoo Sage-enhanced Kurama avatar, summoning the twin lion fists. Sasuke and Itachi also activated their Susanoos, heading toward Madara. A defeated Obito watched as Naruto attacked and immobilized Madara, who Hashirama had managed to subdue despite being pinned down himself. The allied shinobi forces noticed Naruto's assault and rushed to the scene. Shikaku agreed to assist Gaara in stopping Madara, with the other tailed beasts following suit. Meanwhile, Obito, incapacitated from the extraction of the tailed beasts, resolved to use the outer path samsara of heavenly life technique to revive those lost in the war, claiming he finally understood Nagato's actions. However, before he could proceed, Black Zetsu emerged and took control of his body, forcing him to use the same technique to revive Madara instead. To the shock of Naruto and the others, Madara reappeared in the flesh, his Rinnegan crumbling but revealing an original eye he had hidden. He quickly placed it into his empty sockets as the Geto Mazo began to move out of Obito. Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata charged at Madara, followed closely by the rest of the alliance. Black Zetsu attempted to seize the Rinnegan from its weakened host, but Obito fought back. Zetsu insisted that the Rinnegan must be returned to Madara, but Obito scoffed, ultimately losing the struggle as Madara exerted his will over the black creature. Zetsu appeared next to Madara and attempted to give him the dojutsu. Naruto slashed at him, but Zetsu warped him away using Kamui, dodging Sasuke's attack and delivering the Rinnegan to Madara. Hinata leaped at Obito's possessed body, striking it away with her palm. She then began attacking Madara with her twin lion fists while Sasuke and the remaining shinobi provided support. Kakashi called out for Kushina to restore his chakra, urgently needing to retrieve Naruto from the Kamui dimension. Kushina complied, healing him and replenishing his chakra. Kakashi teleported, but to his surprise, Obito arrived simultaneously. Obito informed Kakashi that he was regaining control of his body and would teleport them both out. The two reappeared on the battlefield, and Naruto, seeing the eight-tailed beasts and his father's avatar chained by the Geto Mazo, shouted in alarm. He called out for Sasuke, who was being tended to by Sakura, Hinata, and Karin, as he struggled with a wound inflicted by the ghost of the Uchiha. Itachi worked to free the Nine Tails from the chains. Gaara roared that he would not allow Shikaku to be taken, surrounding the chains with his sand. Naruto, determined, screamed that he would not let his father be taken either, leaping to hold the chain in his Sage Susanoo Kurama avatar, pulling it back. Minato warned Naruto that there was only one way to prevent the extraction of his half of Kurama. Confused, Naruto joined Minato in his avatar as he began performing hand signs. Suddenly, the avatar collapsed, and Naruto felt a surge of power. Minato murmured that the two halves were finally together. However, the sudden influx of chakra overwhelmed Naruto, causing him to lose consciousness. Both he and Sasuke awakened in a yellow and blue room with water beneath their feet, where a voice proclaimed that it would achieve peace and order. Hagoromo, an alien-looking man, introduced himself. Sasuke attempted to speak, but was interrupted. Naruto urged the Sage of Six Paths to release them, stating that the world needed their help. Hagoromo acknowledged Naruto's knowledge and his explanation to Sasuke. He sensed both Indra and Azura, pleased to see them united without manipulation, and believed they desired lasting peace. To achieve this, he wanted to bless them with powers to stop Madara and prevent the rebirth of his mother. Naruto and Sasuke exchanged determined glances before stepping forward. They each took one of Hagoromo's hands, feeling a rush of power flow into them. Just before the transfer was complete, Naruto placed a reassuring hand on Sasuke's shoulder and shared some of his chakra. As the process concluded, Sasuke staggered back in pain, opening his eyes to find they resembled Naruto's. Naruto stepped back, noticing the nine-tailed beasts surrounding him. The two tails explained that Madara had become the Jinchuriki of the Jubi and that they were the remaining chakra within Naruto, alongside Kurama, who was fortunate to be sealed inside him. Determined, Naruto expressed his intent to stop Madara and grant the tailed beasts the freedom they deserved. He then inquired about the healing of a comrade, looking at the sage. Hagoromo affirmed that Naruto's mother and the young Uzumaki had healed him, and Naruto nodded as they left. Upon arriving at the battlefield, they were met with a landscape of destruction. Naruto spotted what he believed to be Madara launching a tailed beast ball, which he swiftly kicked away, declaring that it was enough. A cross appeared in his eyes, centered within his Tomo Rinnegan. Sasuke joined him, surrounded by the green aura of Sage Jutsu, while Naruto activated his new chakra mode. Madara, unimpressed, remarked that they were doomed. As 4 Limbo clones attacked, Naruto and Sasuke skillfully dodged them, utilizing their Rinnegan and 6 Paths Sage modes to sense their movements. Naruto revived Guy, restoring his life force before kicking a Madara clone aside. He aimed a punch at Madara, while Sasuke dealt with the remaining clones. Madara created a defensive Shakujo from his truth-seeking ball, but Naruto's punch sent him crashing into a massive tree. Naruto teleported next to Madara, forming a Raisin Shuriken coated with lava release, which he launched at Madara, cutting through both him and the tree. Although Madara managed to absorb part of the tree, it left him momentarily confused. Sasuke teleported beside Naruto, surprising him. They both leaped toward Madara, who boasted about his immortality. Naruto easily dodged Madara's attack and jumped back, while Sasuke seized the opportunity to slash Madara with a lightning-infused sword, nearly tearing into him. Madara, frustrated, attempted to steal Sasuke's Rinnegan Eye, but Sasuke switched places with Naruto, who unleashed a Shinra Tensei. Sasuke then struck Madara with his sword, causing him to spit out blood as he stared at the 2 young men before him, realizing they were not just teens, but gods. As Madara processed this, Obito and Black Zetsu appeared beside him, with Zetsu declaring that Madara was fully under his control. The 2 Uchiha charged at Naruto and Sasuke, leading to an intense battle until Kakashi and Hinata arrived. Hinata unleashed her In Seal, appearing before Madara and kicking him away. Surprisingly, he did not evade the attack and absorbed the impact. The team, excluding Naruto, focused on Obito, giving Madara the chance to ascend closer to the moon. He removed part of his forehead protector, revealing a 3rd eye resembling Kagaya Otsutsuki's, and prepared to cast the infinite Tsukuyomi onto the moon. Naruto wanted to rush in to stop him, but Sasuke held him back to protect him from the impending effects. Naruto broke free and teleported next to Minato, noticing his parents and Nagato together. He summoned his Susanoo around them, while Sasuke shielded the other 2 members of Team 7 with his own perfect Susanoo. Naruto explained that the Genjutsu would affect the entire world, but their combined powers would protect them from its effects. His parents embraced him, expressing their pride in his growth and strength. Overwhelmed with emotion, Naruto held back tears as they broke the hug. He turned to Nagato, who embraced him tightly, expressing his desire to see his friends again. Naruto tightened his grip, promising to become an even greater shinobi. As Nagato's hair glowed and turned red, Naruto felt tears streaming down his face. He vowed to fulfill his promise as his parents supported him. He unsummoned his Susanoo and teleported Nagato away, focusing on Kakashi, Sasuke, and Hinata. Madara descended to the ground, standing beside Obito, declaring himself the savior of the world who would eliminate them before they could destroy everyone's happiness. Naruto scoffed and, in an instant, appeared before Madara, stabbing his hand. Just as Madara prepared to retaliate, Obito's hand passed through his body, causing confusion. Black Zetsu revealed its true allegiance, leaving everyone frozen in fear, uncertain of what would happen next. Sasuke rushed to cut the creature off, but Naruto intervened, insisting that stopping could harm Obito and that they didn't know the consequences. Madara suddenly enlarged, letting out an inhuman scream, and Naruto and Sasuke noticed his 4 shadows fading. Black Zetsu, having completely possessed Madara, addressed everyone with a sinister laugh, explaining that the infinite Tsukuyomi would eventually turn every human into white Zetsu for Kagaya's army, just like the last time. Obito collapsed, prompting Kakashi, Minato, and Kushina to rush to his side. Chakra erupted from the ground, flowing into Madara's body. Naruto shouted for them to absorb as much as possible, and he and Sasuke began using their powers to gather the chakra. Though it was a small amount, every bit counted. Hinata leaped at Madara, striking him repeatedly with her twin lion fists, continuing until Kaguya was fully reborn, taking Madara's place. The resurrected Kaguya immediately recognized that Naruto and Sasuke had been granted powers by Hagoromo. Everyone around her felt a sense of dread from the immense chakra she possessed. In a dull tone, declaring her lack of intention to fight, as this place was her nursery, her planet. Naruto challenged her, demanding to know her plans, but she remained silent. In an instant, she, along with Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata, found themselves in a landscape filled with lava and fire. Naruto and Sasuke activated their Six Paths Sage mode and rushed toward Hinata, who began to levitate, surprising them. She explained that she could use chakra at every Tenketsu point, making levitation easy. Naruto summoned his Rinnegan bird, allowing Hinata to ride as it soared toward the two. Meanwhile, Kakashi struggled to hold Obito, who was on the brink of falling. Naruto instructed Kakashi to focus on Obito while he charged at Kaguya, with Hinata following closely behind. Sasuke teleported Kakashi and Obito to safety, using the feathers from the bird. Naruto summoned multiple clones, all employing fire and water jutsu to create a smoke screen that momentarily startled Kaguya. Seizing the opportunity, Naruto launched a lava raisin shuriken at her, managing to sever her arm. However, she quickly regenerated and levitated, just as Sasuke and Hinata appeared beside her. Sasuke unleashed his Amaterasu, but Kaguya absorbed it. Taking advantage of the moment, Sasuke and Hinata entered his Susan. Hinata activated her Byakugo, which enveloped the entire Susan. With her twin lion fists surrounded by Amaterasu, they attempted to strike Kaguya, who blocked the attack with her God Vacuum Fist. Naruto, emerging from behind with his Kurama avatar and Sage Susan, prepared to counter Kaguya, who questioned if he was using a portion of her 10 tails. Naruto summoned his Susanoo sword, charging it with lightning as he aimed to stab her. Kaguya raised her God Vacuum Fist to counter, but just as it reached her, her attack was warped away. Naruto managed to stab her, but it had no effect as she summoned another dimension to heal herself. The two were encased in ice while everyone else found themselves in a mountainous, icy landscape. Sasuke freed himself and Naruto using his Kagetsuchi. Suddenly, Naruto vanished, reappearing next to Kaguya, who prepared to strike him with a bone extending from her arm. She stepped on him, causing him to disintegrate into dust. Undeterred, Naruto kicked her away, expressing his annoyance at her rudeness. Kaguya scoffed at his chakra usage, transforming her hair into needles that attacked him. Naruto vanished again, reappearing beside Obito, Kakashi, and Hinata. He requested their assistance, sharing his chakra with them. The four tails informed him that Kaguya was weak against tailed beast chakra and urged him to combine their powers to defeat her. Naruto nodded, summoning nearly 2,000 clones, all of which charged at Kaguya. Sasuke, realizing he had been teleported away, was also aided by Hinata, who helped Obito open a portal to reach him. As Naruto's clones engaged Kaguya in taijutsu, they gradually pressured her, keeping her occupied. While she was distracted, 10 of Naruto's clones created raisin shurikens infused with the chakra of all 9 tailed beasts. They hurled the raisin shurikens at her, and she let out a cry as the tailed beasts attempted to escape her body, transforming into a monstrous rabbit-like creature. Naruto entered his Susanoo Kurama avatar and cut a significant portion of the creature, absorbing it to replenish the tailed beast's chakra pools. Zetsu reacted in outrage, and Kaguya retaliated by sending 2 bones flying toward Naruto. He scoffed as the bones vanished. He reminded her that his Mangekyo allowed him to manipulate anything into a domain where he could multiply and summon them endlessly. Kaguya's eyes widened slightly as hundreds of bones shot toward her, but she dodged by summoning another dimension for herself and everyone else. They all fell to the ground, feeling the oppressive weight of high gravity. Kaguya targeted Naruto and Sasuke with 2 bones. Obito and Kakashi fought against the gravity to shield them from the impact. Naruto let out a shout, summoning 2 clones to take the blow instead. Kakashi questioned him, and Naruto simply scoffed as his Rinnegan began to glow. He stood up and walked towards the woman who also fought against the gravity. He mumbled that he was the chosen child of prophecy, regardless of the dimension. He raised his arm and asked if she had ever seen a god. The woman spat out some blood as her chakra began to be extracted from her body. All the tailed beasts started to be drawn out of her while Naruto absorbed them into himself. He declared that her chakra and soul were now his. The woman struggled, attempting to teleport away, but Naruto's friends assisted him in the tug-of-war. Obito informed Zetsu that with Naruto's Rinnegan, their plans were finished, as he used his Kamui to pull the creature into another dimension. Kaguya felt the last remnants of the tailed beast chakra leaving her, and her soul began to follow suit. She let out a scream as everyone was pushed back. The goddess ascended into the air, summoning a massive truth-seeking orb. Zetsu explained that with this, Kaguya would destroy all space and time. Kaguya began to tear up, reminiscing about her battles with her children. Sasuke entered his Sage Susanoo, and Naruto did the same around Kurama's avatar. They flew up to confront her once and for all, while Hinata hopped onto Naruto's Rinnegan bird summon to follow them. Obito was about to assist them, but Kakashi stopped him, assuring him that they had already won. Naruto and Sasuke attacked Kaguya simultaneously. She retaliated by sending ash-like bones toward them, but they countered with a single truth-seeking orb. They slashed at her, cutting both her arms, which she immediately regenerated. Naruto shot a chakra rod at Zetsu, immobilizing him. The woman felt a flicker of fear at the prospect of losing, but before she could teleport away to escape being sealed, Hinata struck her with a Yin seal, enhancing her twin lion fist with sage power, shattering Kaguya's bones and taking a portion of her chakra. Seizing the opportunity, Naruto and Sasuke touched her with their sun and moon seals. They immediately performed the 6 paths Chibaka Tensei, sealing the woman once and for all. The planet around them crumbled and was drawn into the Chibaku Tensei. Obito glared at Zetsu, holding him firmly. He declared that Zetsu should join Kaguya, as he had caused enough harm. He hurled Zetsu toward the Chibaku Tensei, and Naruto looked on in disgust. The woman warned that this was not over. For Naruto Uzumaki. Suddenly, Naruto found himself in his mindscape, with the 9-tailed beasts and Azura to his left. To his right, the woman appeared, floating around him. She claimed that he was too strong to leave and that with his body, she would take down her weak clan members and reclaim her planet. She entered Naruto's body, causing him to stagger in pain while his real body fell unconscious to the ground. Just as he reached the ground, Hinata caught him, noticing a seal on his arm. Sasuke asked if this was normal, but no one knew how to respond. After a few minutes, Naruto woke up to find everyone staring at him. He mumbled that Kaguya had taken his body, prompting confusion among his friends. He explained what had happened in his mindscape, while the tailed beasts and Azura remained silent, unsure of what the woman had done. By the time he finished, everyone was in shock, while the woman chuckled in his mind. Madara, who had escaped Kaguya's dying body, remarked that despite everything, Naruto had gained power he could not compete with. Naruto questioned why Madara was acting like a supportive figure now. Everyone else stifled their laughter as Naruto sighed. He suggested they head back, hoping Hagoromo-sama might know something about the situation. Sasuke prepared to open a portal, but Naruto teleported them all next to the sage. Naruto greeted his parents excitedly, running towards them. Kakashi and Obito followed, sharing in the embrace. Once they finished, Kushina turned to Obito, warning him against any reckless actions. The man gulped as she threatened him, and Naruto and Kakashi burst into laughter. Hagoromo spoke about the child of prophecy to his teammates while Madara and Hashirama shared their last moments. Hashirama invited Naruto to join them, and the team nodded, rushing to stand with Tobirama and Hiruzen above Madara's fading form. Tobirama expressed pride in Naruto, while Hiruzen playfully punched him in the stomach. As everyone shared laughter, the sage called Naruto over, asking about the tailed beasts. Naruto realized he had forgotten and tried to release them, but only the 8 tails emerged. The sage noted that the others still wished to remain with him. The 8 tails explained that he had kept some of his chakra within Naruto to visit, But he could not remain sealed unless it was with B, nor could he stay with Kaguya. Hagoromo inquired about the woman, and Naruto sighed before they both entered his mindscape, where Kaguya stood before them. The tailed beasts glared at her, and Azura was ready to attack. Hagoromo addressed her coldly. Kaguya smirked, taunting Hagoromo about how she would know whether he spoke or not, having implanted her karma seal onto Naruto. Hagoromo froze at her words, and they left the mindscape. Naruto asked what a karma seal was, what Kaguya meant, and what was happening to him. Everyone turned their attention to them as Hagoromo let out a saddened sigh. He explained that the karma seal was a backup of the Otsutsuki's biological data, implanted onto vessels. Over time, the karma would overwrite the vessel's genetic information, transforming them into Otsutsuki. Everyone stared in shock at this revelation, while Naruto gulped, realizing the gravity of the situation. Even the tailed beasts and Azura were taken aback. Minato stepped forward, determined to prevent his son from being taken over at such a young age. Naruto insisted that it wasn't just about him dying. If Kaguya were reborn through his body, she would undoubtedly be stronger than ever. If Naruto wasn't there to stop her, no one would be powerful enough to. The only way to eliminate a kama was to remove its holder, and by extension, the Otsutsuki within them, Hagoromo explained, his tone heavy with weariness. Everyone present felt a chill at that revelation. It was far from what they had anticipated. Naruto sighed as he released all 9-tailed beasts from his body. The 9 tails questioned him, but he firmly stated that he wouldn't take any of them with him. He turned to Sasuke, his Rinnegan activated, and the Uchiha immediately understood the unspoken plan. Kushina began to ask what they were planning when she felt herself drawn towards Sasuke. The Uchiha sighed and created a massive spike of Amaterasu that pierced through Naruto. He murmured an apology as a Chidori surged through his heart, slicing through vital organs. Shock paralyzed everyone around them. Hashirama was the first to rush to Naruto, followed closely by his parents. They checked for a pulse, but it was gone. Kakashi joined them, grief-stricken, and questioned Sasuke about his actions. Sasuke replied softly, admitting that Naruto had wanted him to do it. Suddenly, the tailed beasts began to charge, furious over the loss of their sage. Sasuke activated his Rinnegan, but Hinata intervened, her eyes filled with tears as she knelt beside her beloved. She expressed her anguish, blaming Naruto for the pain they were experiencing. Naruto, determined, declared that he would drag Kaguya to hell with him as their souls prepared to escape the human realm. Kaguya insisted that she would rather endure a suffocating existence than give up on defeating Momoshiki and his allies. A brilliant light suddenly enveloped Naruto, causing panic among the onlookers. Lines of white energy surged across his body, healing him and leaving everyone bewildered. The tailed beasts unleashed their attacks, but they vanished harmlessly. Naruto stood up, mumbling about the rudeness of attacking his best friend. Hinata leaped into his arms, and they embraced while the others looked on in astonishment. Tobirama asked what had happened, and Naruto explained that Kaguya had used her personal energy to keep him alive, mentioning Momoshiki. Hagoromo, confused by Naruto's words, chose not to question him further. Sasuke expressed relief that Naruto was back, and they prepared to teleport together. Before they left, Hagoromo reminded them that the living world should not be tainted by the presence of the dead. Naruto sighed and nodded as the spirits of the deceased stood ready to depart. He faced his parents, who were slowly following the others. He expressed that he had done everything they had asked, except for finding a partner, as he proudly held Hinata's hand. Kushina's eyes filled with tears as she embraced the 2 teens, followed by Minato, who urged Hinata to keep their self-sacrificing son safe. Suddenly, 2 more figures joined the embrace, making it even tighter. Naruto playfully teased them, and Obito lightly punched his head, which Kushina returned. Kakashi rolled his eyes, trying to hide a smile. As the 2 souls began to float away, Naruto smiled through his tears, grateful for their parting words. They had never had the chance to say it before, but they wished him a happy birthday. Everyone left the summoning area and hurried to a location where they could release the infinite Tsukuyomi. With Sasuke's Rinnegan and the 9-tailed beasts indirectly supporting Naruto, they unleashed the Genjutsu, freeing everyone from the entrapment of the trees surrounding them. Eight-tailed beasts remained within Naruto while the Eight Tails departed to assist the shinobi in B's village as a mark of respect. They reunited with the Alliance, where cheers erupted for their war heroes. Following the battle, the villages held funerals for the fallen shinobi. Obito, despite the Kage's plans for his execution, was simply imprisoned at Naruto's request. Naruto finally achieved the rank of Special Jounin, opting to wait until he had a family before aspiring to become the fifth Hokage. He became an international celebrity, loved and respected by all. While Naruto delved deeper into research about Kaguya, Sasuke and Itachi worked to recruit former allies of Danzo, integrating them into the Umbu under Konoha. Hinata collaborated with Sakura, Karin, and Tsunade, even working alongside Naruto to study the Ashura path and enhance their technological advancements. Their knowledge was shared with other villages, leading to a long-awaited peace. With his role in the conflict against Kaguya and Naruto's influence, Obito was released but chose to take his time before re-entering the shinobi world. Guy fully recovered from opening the 8th gate, thanks to the efforts of all the healing ninjas, including Naruto. However, many shinobi began to show signs of believing in Madara's ideals and the infinite Tsukuyomi. Naruto took it upon himself to guide others toward the right path, aided by the new Umbu captain, Sai, whom he had befriended. With the wealth he inherited from his parents and the earnings from his missions, Naruto dedicated a portion of his resources to establish orphanages equipped with shinobi training for those who had lost their families due to the Akatsuki and the Fourth Ninja War. Some of Danzo's followers had managed to obtain Naruto's DNA and blood during the World War, which they used to create tailed beast drags that granted individuals partial tailed beast powers. Hinata, Sakura, and Karin, who trained under Naruto and Sasuke's guidance, were the ones to confront these threats. At that time, Naruto was struggling with a chakra illness that even his powerful healing abilities could not cure. Sasuke and Itachi attempted to assist him, but Itachi soon realized that Naruto's condition was far worse than his own. This chakra illness had once afflicted the legendary Sage of Six Paths, stemming from the immense chakra he had held for so long. To find a cure, Sasuke followed the steps of the Sage of Six Paths in Rinnegan. When he located a woman who possessed the book containing information about the sage's illness, they discovered that the pages detailing the cure had vanished. Sasuke continued his search, learning that the sage had healed after splitting a looming meteorite, which restored his normal condition. Despite everyone's warnings, Naruto insisted on joining Sasuke on this mission. Sasuke even threatened him to stay safe, but Naruto remained determined. Eventually, they found a jar in the sage's sacred treasure cave containing the particles that had once healed him. Using the remaining particles, Naruto restored his normal bodily functions. Afterward, he and Sasuke continued their journey through Kaguya's dimensions, seeking information about the Otsutsuki's and the enigmatic Momoshiki. Nearly 2 years after the Fourth Great Ninja World War, Naruto returned to the village after yet another disappointing search in Kaguya's dimension. The woman had been unhelpful, especially after Naruto had used his adamantine chains to restrain her in his mindscape. Upon entering the village, he sensed the absence of his girlfriend's chakra. Just as he was about to teleport to her, Karin, Sakura, and Itachi appeared beside him. He asked where Hinata was, and Itachi informed him that she had been missing for 3 days after Otsutsuki Tonari had taken her and Hanabi. Shocked, Naruto wondered why no one had informed him. Sakura explained that their messages had been blocked, likely by a barrier set by Tonari. Naruto sighed, understanding the urgency of the situation, and prepared to teleport. Karin urged him to return quickly, as the village needed a Hokage to lead it. With a heavy heart, Naruto nodded, aware of what had happened to Hiruzen. Itachi offered to help, but Naruto insisted they keep the village safe and inform the other villages. He teleported next to Hinata, finding her in a precarious situation, holding a piece of something in her mouth while a pale Otsutsuki attempted to bite the other half. The Otsutsuki confronted Naruto, summoning hundreds of puppets, but Naruto swiftly used Shinra Tensei to send them away before summoning nearly 50 clones that cut through them effortlessly. Hinata, under the Otsutsuki's influence, attacked Naruto, but he skillfully dodged her strikes and used his Rinnegan to seize the orb controlling her. Tonari scoffed and prepared to attack, but Naruto took Hinata and fled. She informed him about the Tensigan, an energy vessel that Tonari planned to use to launch an attack on Earth, already sending meteorites toward it. Naruto nodded, instructing Kurama to stay behind and take care of himself while he dealt with the Tensigan. They reached the energy vessel room, and Hinata entered Sage mode, using her twin lion fist, which glowed with a purple hue. Naruto, impressed, held her hand as an orange Rasengan formed in her fist, and together they leaped to destroy the Tensigan. As the Tensigan shattered, the Otsutsuki sensed the disturbance. Naruto and Hinata teleported back to Kurama, who lay on the ground in pain. Naruto noted the power of their adversary, realizing they had to act quickly. He entered his Six Paths Sage mode, his Rinnegan glowing brightly. The Otsutsukis also entered a powerful blue chakra mode, and Tonari summoned a massive wooden golem that dwarfed them. Naruto smirked, ready for the challenge. Suddenly, all the tailed beasts from the 1st to the 7th appeared beside them, charging at the golem. Tonari taunted them, summoning various truth-seeking orbs that began to spin before he raised them to strike the moon. Just in time, Naruto used his own truth-seeking orbs to block the attack. The two continued to clash, exchanging blows until Hinata landed a punch with her twin lion fist, knocking Tonari back. As Hinata prepared to attack again, she was suddenly ensnared. Naruto scoffed and rushed to her aid, but just as he was about to strike, Hinata broke free with a truth-seeking orb that manifested after she entered her personal Six Paths Sage mode. Focusing his chakra, Naruto delivered a powerful punch that shattered a significant portion of the moon and cracked the mountain where Tonari had landed. Hinata quickly joined him, taking her sister's eyes from the fallen Otsutsuki, who lay incapacitated. The tailed beasts finished off the golem and returned to Naruto, who sat beside the defeated Otsutsuki. He summoned two truth-seeking orbs that surrounded Tonari, rendering him unable to move. Naruto declared that the battle was over, and Tonari had already lost. Whatever the reasoning behind wanting to bring the moon crashing down to Earth, it was irrelevant. Naruto expressed his frustration passionately. With the mission completed, the man took Hinata and Hanabi and teleported them back to the village. Instead of returning Hanabi's eyes, Hinata offered her own, implanting the pure Byakugan into her Otsutsuki-enhanced body, which allowed her to achieve her own Tensigan. She quickly learned to switch between it and her normal Byakugan. After that day, Naruto's missions were reduced, as Sasuke took charge of Kagaya's dimension. Instead, Naruto finally earned the rank he had long desired, becoming the 6th Hokage. Following the ceremony, he focused on his wedding, ready to take Hinata as his wife. With the wedding completed, Naruto turned a new page in his life, prepared to continue his bloodline. They were blessed with 3 children, all eager to follow in their parents' footsteps. Menma Uzumaki Hyuga was born with bright red hair and purple eyes, resembling his grandmother more than anyone else. Boruto Uzumaki Hyuga, a year younger than Menma, was nearly a mirror image of Naruto with his blonde hair and blue eyes. Himawari Uzumaki Hyuga was a younger version of Hinata, sharing Naruto's eyes. Sasuke was also ready for children, and his choice of partner surprised everyone. Karin, holding Sasuke's children, was something Naruto had never imagined. The couple welcomed twins, Sarada and Mikoto Uchiha. Mikoto had red hair and eyes, while Sarada sported dark hair and eyes. Itachi ended up with Sakura Haruno, and they took their time before having children. Their son, Fugaku, named after his grandfather, was born just a day before Himawari, resembling his father with similar facial features. Naruto's other friends also found partners and had children, many of whom surprised the Uzumaki. Kakashi and Obito spent their time together with Guy. Naruto's cells were grafted onto Kakashi to assist with his nearly blind Sharingan. While all the children respected their legendary parents, Naruto held a special place in their hearts. His chakra fascinated them all. Menma, at just 3 years old, wondered if it was true that his dad was the strongest shinobi of all time. Hinata confirmed that Naruto was indeed more powerful than anyone else, with only Uncle Sasuke as a potential rival. Menma declared that he and his brother would one day surpass their father, holding his younger sibling with pride. Naruto made the most of his time with his family, using his clones to manage everything else. He trained with his 3 children, while the Uchiha twins joined them almost daily, seeing Naruto as not only the Hokage but also a close family member and idol. They all excelled in their studies at the Shinobi Academy. Menma, Sarada, Mikoto, and Fugaku unlocked their Sharingans, while Himawari managed to awaken her Byakugan. Boruto, however, felt left out, not understanding why he lacked a dojutsu, but his parents continued to train him diligently. Naruto was overjoyed with his family and looked forward to a peaceful life where everyone could feel safe. However, his hopes were dashed when 3 chakra signals, comparable to Kagaya Otsutsuki, appeared during his son's Chunin exams. Boruto and Sarada were about to receive their new titles when the Otsutsukis descended upon them. One of the Otsutsukis, lean and imposing, demanded Naruto's surrender. Naruto recognized him as Momoshiki and firmly refused. He activated his 6 paths chakra mode, his Rinnegan glowing with power. He instructed Sasuke to handle the larger Otsutsuki, Hinata to confront the lean one, and he would face the one targeting him. Hinata entered her Tenseigan chakra mode and charged at the 3 Otsutsukis, with her teammates following in their 6 paths sage mode. Sasuke rushed at Kinshiki, with his daughters closely behind. Hinata engaged Urashiki, who attempted to attack her with a chakra rod, but she managed to teleport herself and her children away. Naruto was left facing Momoshiki, who sneered at the frightened villagers. Momoshiki prepared a massive tailed beast ball, but Naruto quickly shielded the entire stadium with his truth-seeking orbs. The Otsutsuki smirked and launched the tailed beast ball at him, but Naruto teleported it away. Boruto shouted to protect his dad, attempting to attack Momoshiki with a Rasengan. The Otsutsuki dodged and kicked Boruto aside, but Naruto caught him and retaliated with a Shinra Tensei. The 2 Uzumakis readied their jutsu when they were suddenly teleported to a land filled with chakra fruit trees. Naruto looked around in disgust at the abundance of easily obtained power. Momoshiki raised his arms, and all 13 trees merged, forming a single chakra fruit. He proclaimed that this fruit contained power hundreds of times greater than anything they could achieve and consumed it. Suddenly, Momoshiki began to transform, his hair growing taller and his physique expanding as he nearly doubled in height. He even grew a 3rd Rinnegan on his forehead as his Byakugan turned golden. The demon-like god declared his intentions to reclaim the 10 tails and destroy the planet that Kagaya had betrayed them for. Naruto scoffed at the threat, dismissing the god as a monster. Momoshiki retorted that they were both monsters. Naruto laughed and charged at him with such force that the ground shattered, pushing Boruto back. He aimed a punch at Momoshiki's face, but the god dodged and spun around to strike at Naruto's neck. Just as he nearly reached him, Naruto summoned a chakra arm that sent the Otsutsuki flying away. Naruto acknowledged the unprecedented level of power he faced, urging Boruto to stay focused and learn from the encounter. As the god rushed at him with a chakra spear, Naruto drew his sword to block the incoming attack. Momoshiki twisted his arm, and Naruto mirrored the movement to prevent the spear from reaching him. The god then executed a flip and kicked Naruto in the back, sending him flying. Regaining his footing, Naruto teleported next to the sword lying beside Momoshiki. He attempted another strike, but Momoshiki blocked it and spun around, preparing to attack again. With a smirk, Naruto activated his Kama seal, causing Momoshiki to pause in surprise. As the Otsutsuki activated his Byakugan, he froze slightly at the sight of Kagaya. Naruto revealed a bone from his hand and stabbed it into Momoshiki's arm. The god, undeterred, severed his own arm to prevent further damage to his body, proclaiming that such shinjutsu did not affect him. He summoned a lava-empowered monkey rock, but Naruto entered his Sage Mode Susan Kurama avatar and summoned a sword, swiftly taking down the beast. Momoshiki summoned a pheasant hunter that attacked Naruto's avatar, while ferocious canine chakra avatars emerged from the land to assault Boruto. Naruto scoffed, leaving his avatar to create a lava raisin shuriken that cut through all the avatars, while Kurama's avatar tore apart the pheasant hunter. Momoshiki charged at Naruto, launching a barrage of attacks that Naruto barely dodged. The god attempted a headshot, but Naruto blocked it and countered with a kick, which Momoshiki also blocked. Naruto remarked that he hadn't used the gates in a long time as 7 gates appeared around him. Momoshiki was taken aback by the overwhelming chakra before Naruto kicked him far away. Naruto appeared beside Momoshiki, kicking him into the air and jumping after him. As Momoshiki summoned chakra chains, Naruto countered with a clone, sending the god crashing to the ground. Momoshiki declared planetary devastation, as he was sealed by the surrounding rocks and trees. Naruto, holding a shocked Boruto, insisted it wasn't over. Momoshiki broke free from the planetary devastation and attempted to blast them with a lava attack, but Naruto absorbed it. Summoning another monkey rock, Naruto laughed, expressing his desire for it. His Rinnegan glowed, and suddenly, his avatar disappeared. The rock monkey reappeared and attacked the god. Naruto explained to Boruto that his Mangekyo Sharingan allowed him to reuse any jutsu he absorbed and multiply it. Boruto watched in awe as 9 more rock monkeys appeared, all attacking Momoshiki, who fought back fiercely. As the last monkey was shattered, Boruto leaped, surrounded by Naruto's chakra, and prepared to unleash a massive Rinnegan. Momoshiki raised his arms to absorb the attack, but Naruto teleported next to him, stabbing his waist. He created a chakra rod and moved it into Momoshiki's Rinnegan as the god regained his power. Naruto smirked, confident that his son was winning. However, he was soon kicked away by Momoshiki, who formed a gigantic version of the Rinnegan and aimed it at Boruto. The 2 attacks clashed, but Boruto overpowered Momoshiki, his eye glowing a deep blue that filled the god with fear.